We now await the first pitch from Herman as he looks to shape, trying to get a good start going against Maine. Trying to keep Stony Brook in this baseball tournament. They are the hosts. And the first pitch is a fastball up high, and it goes for ball one. We are underway from Joe Nathan Field. A little hover as they show behind the plate. Count quickly 1-0. The pitch from Herman. Ball goes outside, catches the corner for a called strike. It's 1-1. They get Brian Herman, and him being one of the biggest tenured players in the team. And the 1-1, it's a swing and a miss. McDaniel was late to chase that one. Count now 1-2. McDaniel capitalizing on 1 of the 3 home runs in the Black Bears' last outing against Stony Brook in this baseball tournament. Herman gets himself set up now for the 1-2. Both teams trying to stave off against the cold. We still got some fans in attendance. And the pitch is up high for ball 2. The count shows 1-2. And now it shows 2-2. Just a little late read. And a 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 called. And Brian Herman strikes out McDaniel to begin this ball game. He gets his 50th strikeout of the year with 1 away. That's a good start for Brian Herman. Exactly the start that he needs. Knows how desperate of a game is going to... Desperate that both teams are going to be from here on out. We've seen a lot of good pitching for Stony Brook and every other game so far to start. As Connor Goodman will come up to bat. The first pitch on the inside. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. For Connor Goodman, he is averaging .288 on the year. Righty versus righty. The 0-1. Another swing and a miss. He misses that one too, and it's went a little creepy upstairs. Count goes 0-2. After Goodman, you get Terrain up to bat, who's averaging .314. The 0-2, and he grounds this one over to third. Giordano picks it up, throws over to Hamilton, and he had to move a little, but he was able to keep his foot on the base to retire Goodman for out number 2. Well, this is not going to be an easy game. The weather may be a big factor, and Giordano's throw may have been a little off, but Hamilton's still able to extend his arm, and that is what allowed him to keep the Black Bears from having a base runner. So, Ryan Terrain now up to bat. It's the righty versus lefty, and the first pitch is way outside for ball 1. John Tuccillo is the Seawolves pitcher today. We've seen more of him in this baseball tournament. Have yet to see Shane Paradine, the redshirt freshman, get any starts. The 1-0 goes upstairs for ball 2. Ryan Terrain is also the catcher for the team this year. Junior from Lynn, Massachusetts, 6'2". Count quickly 2-0. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss and went behind Tuccillo, but no base runner for Maine, so doesn't do too much damage. Counts now 2-1. See what's going to happen after this game. The winner is supposed to be taking on NGIT in the championship round. We'll see how the time works out with that. The 2-1. Ball goes upstairs again. Count now 3-1. Well, between righty versus lefty, it could have put a little more pressure on the pitcher since the lefties usually tend to look a little more better. But Herman wants to get out of it. 3-1. And this one definitely goes outside again, and this one is ball 4. So, Ryan Terrain draws a 5-pitch walk on Brian Herman as the Black Bears gets their first base runner of the game. And that sets up Sean Layler to come up to the plate. See if he can try and bring around Terrain. Sean Layler is dangerous as can be, averaging .353 on the year. He's coming off a game against NGIT where he was 1 of 4. Same against Stony Brook back on Thursday. Another righty versus lefty. The first pitch, a breaking ball that goes down low, and it's ball 1. Sean Layler, the senior from Boca Raton, Florida. Herman seemed to look good against the righties, but against the lefties, that's a whole different story. Here's the 1-0. Ball goes upstairs again for ball 2. 4 straight balls thrown by Brian Herman, who wears number 19 for Stony Brook. Herman maybe starting to have a little trouble here. He's not throwing the pitches that he wants to be inside the strike zone. Gets set now for the 2-0, the throw. And the ball catches the outside corner, and this one is a called strike. The count now 2-1. That could put a little better. That could make a little more confidence for Herman. Look at just one out away from getting out of this inning. Count 2-1. Terrain still at first. The breaking ball goes just high for ball 3. Sean Layler not getting fooled at all by any of Herman's pitches. Still looking to try and get out of this inning. He's just 2 strikes away, but he's got to stop throwing balls. Of course, it is also very windy today, too. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Count now full. And again, Brian Herman able to make a big strike that he needs. And he's just 1 strikeout away for a game that almost looks like trouble. You don't want 2 players on base even though there are 2 outs. That could get Maine thinking. They did get the RBI single off of Nick DeGennaro to begin the America East Baseball Tournament, the first run of the entire postseason. Full count, runner goes. This ball is fouled along the third base line. Well, the count 3-2, you definitely know that the base runners will just move no matter what. Because if it's a walk, then you go to second anyway. If it's a strikeout, inning over. Still 2 out here in the top of the first, with Ryan Terrain on first after drawing a 5-pitch walk on Brian Herman. Scoreless between the Seawolves and the Black Bears at Joe Nathan Field. Day 3 of the America East Baseball Tournament. Runner going again, and swing and a miss. Strike 3 called. And that will retire the side. So to begin this game, Brian Herman fans 2, no hits, no runs, as we now head to the bottom of the first. So, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to you after these short messages. And back to the studios of WUSB, where we are doing a remote broadcast of the 2021 America East Baseball Tournament today due to inclement weather. However, that weather has not stopped this game from happening. We are halfway through the first inning of this game after Brian Herman had a good start to the game, making 2 strikeouts, a ground out to Giordano, and a 5-pitch walk, as Maine will be out on the field for the first time today. For Maine, their starting pitcher today, you get Noah Lewis, who is at a 4.42 ERA on the year. He wants to do the best against the Stony Brook team that was looking like they were struggling for first 2 games of the year. Only mustered a couple of runs against Maine. Got 3 yesterday against UAlbany, and that proved to be what they needed to end UAlbany's season. So Noah Lewis gets himself ready. John LaRocca up to bat first for Stony Brook. For Noah Lewis, he is 4-5. He's 4-5 on the year with his 12th start of the season coming up. 59 innings he has pitched, has allowed 27 walks, and has made 43 strikeouts. So John LaRocca, in a position that he doesn't usually see much, starting batter in the starting lineup for Stony Brook today. His first pitch to LaRocca is on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. John LaRocca, in his first and only year at this point for Stony Brook, has looked really good among the elites. In the 0-1, he fouls along the third base line to count quickly 0-2. Stony Brook trying to take a lot of cracks with the swinging, and there have been moments where they have struggled. Breaking balls, fastballs that they haven't been able to catch, and those curveballs. They're going to have to find some answers. In the 0-2, this one goes outside for ball 1. Off the fastball that went to Terrain. Count is now 1-2. He goes quickly again, 1-2. Inside and called strike, and that will be out number 1. Almost looked like that went way inside. Nearly had a chance to clip LaRocca's knees, but he may have been a little close to the plate, and that's what allowed the ref to see that it's still caught the inside corner. So, LaRocca is struck out by Noah Lewis, and that'll bring up Evan Giordano. Giordano, the hero of yesterday's game. And the first pitch goes on the ground out, goes over to Lewis. He'll cleanly get it over to Bramante, and that will be a quick 1-pitch ground out. A 1-3, it'll go down as. So quickly like that, just 2 outs off of 4 pitches. Bramante playing first base for Maine. And now you got Chris Hamilton coming up. Hamilton on the year, 3.25. That's his average. He was 1 of 4 yesterday. None of his hits went for a base hit. Hamilton gets set now against Lewis. First pitch, and this one is flown out deep to left field, and this one will go foul. Count 0-2. After the first pitch we missed was a strike on a swing and a miss. John Tuchillo will be up next. And here's the 0-2. And this one is also fouled along the third base line. It will go out of play. No chance for Goodman to catch it. Connor Goodman, the third baseman. Well, we've seen this over the last few days for Stony Brook. They have been really working towards trying to chase those balls as much as they can, trying to prove why they're one of the best offensive players on the team, as the 0-2 goes right into the dirt on a nasty curveball. Count now 1-2. So despite some strong starts from Noah Lewis against the first three batters, the only hiccups have been balls. Hamilton looking to try and make a little something worth it. Responsible for driving in a run. And the 1-2 swing and a miss, strike three, and that will quickly end the inning. As Noah Lewis will also muster up 2 strikeouts. He goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first, and that'll bring us to the end of the first inning. So, also for Stony Brook, no runs, no hits. Both pitchers looking like, despite the weather, they've been able to work themselves well into a position where they want to last as long as they can. So we are going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back.
Ugh, I am not feeling well at all.
Well, what did you eat today?
I had an apple in the morning, and then I got hungry when I was out in the parking lot.
Oh, wait a minute. Were you eating gravel again? Don't you know that eating gravel can cause digestive troubles and moderate to severe damage to your health, and even death? Please, don't eat gravel.
Brought to you by the Gravel Society of Stony Brook, New York, and my friends at WUSB.
And back in the studios of WUSB after one inning, both teams no hits, no runs, or scoreless. Through the first, we enter second inning. Stony Brook, the top seed in the America East Baseball Tournament, hosting the tournament for the first time since their legendary 2012 season, where they went all the way to the College World Series. They're going to have a lot of adversity with the pitching that they are facing so far this year. As Brian Herman once again taking the mound, looked pretty good to start off the top of the first. The only hiccup was that 5-pitch walk that he threw. So, Scott Knotts, the designated hitter for Maine, will be coming up to bat now. He wears number 44, and he averages .296 on the year. This is his 153rd at-bat, and has gotten 45 hits on the year. It's junior from Mason Neck, Virginia. He goes utility as well. Doesn't really have a clear position on what he does in the infield and the outfield. Maine looking to try and take the draw first blood once again against Stony Brook in this baseball tournament. As Herman deals, ball goes a curve, catches the inside for a called strike, 0-1. Both Noah Lewis and Brian Herman had a good strong start to the first inning by being able to pitch a couple of strikeouts. The 0-1 from Herman. This one goes low this time to Tuchillo, and it'll be ball 1. Scott Knotts really trying to tie a little knot around Brian Herman. And the 1-1, and he hits this one out deep to right field. Durkin chasing after it, and he can't get there. It's going to go towards the wall for an extra base hit. The wind helped Knotts. He'll gingerly move over to second, and it's a leadoff double for Scott Knotts. Tying a little action like that with the first base hit of the game, that puts Maine quickly in scoring position. Durkin had to really chase after that one, but the wind could not give him any help at all. Not even a chance to try and dive for it. So with that, Joe Bramonti will come up with a man on second and nobody out. You have to imagine why Brian Herman's the starting pitcher when it's not Sam Turcotte. People thinking this season that Sam Turcotte has looked bigger and better than Brian Herman. Every game is big enough for Stony Brook to try and stave off elimination. He's showing bunt on the first pitch, and it catches the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Well, Bramante looks like his strategy right now is trying to go successful on the sacrifice so he can bring Knots closer and closer to home. Trying to get him to third base would be an amusing strategy trying to work through. As we get ourselves now the 0-1. He swings and misses, and it's another strike, 0-2. Knots still at second, waiting to be moved. It's 116 right now. It's actually 121 according to our charts. Here comes the 0-2, and he hits this one. It's going to go foul along the first base line. Count remains 0-2. Well, you figured that in a cold game like this, anything can happen. I mean, offense can start to break out. Pitching may start to get bigger. It could be anybody's guess. Herman getting set now. Here's the 0-2. This one goes just low. The count is now 1-2. From our angle, that could have gone either way. Just a little hover above, usually probably much different from when we go looking at it when we're actually at Joe Nathan Field. From Herman, here's the 1-2. It nearly clips Bramante, but it stays away from him enough. However, that was way inside, so count now 2-2. Herman may be in a little bit of a hole right here, but strikeout can relieve some pressure off of him. Here's the 2-2. And he hits this one out to right field on foot of Durkin. That's going to be another base hit. Knots is going to be rounded out over to home. And it's another double, this time off of an RBI. And the Maine Black Bears take the first lead of the game. They are up 1-0. Bramante doing the same type of damage that Scott Knots did on the last at-bat. Taking advantage of the wind blowing towards the right. No chance for Cole Durkin to chase after it and make a catch. Just out of his range. He gets a Maine dugout going as they had been throughout the entire tournament. So Maine up 1-0 with a man on second, nobody out. That draws up a quick mound visit for Brian Herman. Again, I say, some people may start to think, why Herman, why not Turcotte? It's going to be a big question to look out for afterwards. Turcotte was able to get the start early this season before there was a chance for Brian Herman to do that. After what we've seen of Sam Turcotte this season, you figured that he had something special going on. The fact that this is also his senior year. Well, Brian Herman is also a senior too, so I figured that's why Matt Senk wants to give him a little help. After the pitching coach had a quick few words, you now get up Jake Marquez, the number 7 batter, up for Maine. Jake Marquez, he is averaging 145, so let's see if Herman can try and use that against him. First pitch, it's down the middle, down Broadway for a called strike, 0-1. Jake Marquez has been trying to slug it well. He's coming off a 1-for-3 game against NGIT yesterday. He was 0-2 against Stony Brook back on Thursday. The 0-1, and he checked swing, didn't go around. Way inside for ball 1. Lucky enough on Jake Marquez's part, otherwise he'd be facing an 0-2. Marquez, freshman, who's at shortstop today, from Miami, Florida. And where's number 6? Still seeing a lot of wind take action, not helping Cole Durkin keep this game scoreless. Now from Herman to 1-1. And this one goes down Broadway again. Count is 1-2 on the called strike. After Jake Marquez, Jake Reynes. Take away the last 3 letters, says Rain. Pretty much accounts for what's happening today. Here's the 1-2, and he lifts this one out in the hole to left center field. That's going to fall for another base hit. Bramante is going to come around home, and it's another RBI base hit for the Black Bears. They now take a 2-0 lead. Another big successful work done by the meat of the starting lineup for Maine. They really starting to cash in on pitches from Brian Herman. Faced with 2 strikes, no matter what the ball count is. That's actually an extra base hit. It didn't hit the wall, but that did allow Marquez to use his speed to get there quicker enough. So 2-0 Maine now. They're up in the top of the second. Jake Reyes will come up to bat, the number 8 hitter. He bats 8th. And number 8 at center field. Brian Herman having a little trouble here. Has yet to get a single player out. Looks strong to start this game, but now he seems to be in jeopardy. He went for a pickoff move at first, and there was nobody there. Probably did not realize that Bramante was at second. Either way, Bramante did not move. It's Jake Reyes, the freshman from Baltimore. He's up to bat. Averaging .257 on the year, making his 22nd start. As he gets set, Brian Herman, the first pitch, he's showing bunt, and he gets it down cleanly in front of Herman. He'll take the throw over to Hamilton for out number 1, and that will move Marquez over to third. So a successful sacrifice with another ground out could bring Marquez home to make it 3-0. But still 2-0. So finally for Herman, he gets the first out here in the top of the second, as he faces the bottom of the batting order in Colin Planty, who averages .155 on the year. His 58 at-bats, he's only mustered 9 hits. He's one of the few players on the starting lineup for today that has yet to find his way into territory where you get double-digit hits. For Brian Herman, he's facing a lefty. In the first pitch, nearly clips Planty, but did not. It's ball 1. Herman having a little trouble here, and this is how it goes. Who knows what Matt Senk is going to do if he has to bring him out eventually. No chance for Sam Kirkcott, because if Stony Brook does win today, they'll have a chance to keep things going, as the 1-0 is a swing and a miss for strike 1. Sam Turcotte, the grad on the team, looking as strong as he can be this year. He's trying to work as much as he can. He is averaging has an ERA at 2.53 as the 1-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. And for Brian Herman, the best thing here would be to strike out Planty, because any ground out after that would probably not lead to a run. As long as it's done cleanly, it won't allow Marquez to move over to home. And the 1-2, and he grounds this one over to first. He's going to take a chance to go to home. He's not going to do that. Hamilton will just go over to first instead for the second out, but Marquez does get the damage done, and he makes it to home and extends the Black Bears' lead to 3. They are now up 3-0. Brian Herman almost thinking about going over to home, but realized he did not have a good chance at being able to take out Marquez and trying to throw it over to Tuchilla, so he had to do what he had to do. As we will return to the top of the batting order, Quinn McDaniel back up to bat. Struck out in his first time up. Brian Herman with trouble here in the top of the second, but with 2 outs. First pitch to McDaniel is down low in the dirt. Tuchilla couldn't get a clean hand on it. Ball 1. Quinn McDaniel. He may be a freshman, but he has already earned being the number 1 batter on the team, as the 1-0 is on the inside for ball 2. For McDaniel, he's having quite a good season, averaging .275 with this being his 41st start of the season. And the 2-0 from Herman. This one goes outside, but catches the corner for a called strike, count 2-1. McDaniel has 41 hits so far in his last 150 at-bats. He's been able to drive in 6 long shots. The 2-1, he lifts this one out deep to right field. However, this one will be going foul. Count 2-2. Camera angle didn't show it, but there may not have been any need, because at that point they knew that it was going to be long gone. Away. Probably long away. I mean, that's how you pretty much go with it. And here's the 2-2. Ball goes upstairs for ball 3, and it's a full count. So if you're wondering, this live feed is, of course, a few minutes late. But We don't have any choice. Full count. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 called. And Brian Herman gets his third strikeout to retire the side, but damage done by the Black Bears. They drive in 3 runs off of 2 RBI doubles and an RBI groundout. We will head to the bottom of the second with Maine leading 3-0 on the Seawolves. We'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to the longtime home for Stony Brook Athletics, live on 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook. There's LaRocca, Giordano, and Hamilton. They were showing a lot of swinging action. Getting too aggressive. The 0-1. Tuchillo grounds this one over to third. Picked up by Goodman. Getting the throw over the first in time for out number 1. Once again, Stony Brook is at it with the swinging action, but they have not gotten where they wanted to go with the base hits yet. Still looking for a hit in this game. Trying to get it off against a pitcher in Noah Lewis, who is not really the best. I mean, like, the best on the team is, of course, Nicholas Sinicola. If anything for Noah Lewis, he's had some good looks so far this year. He's trying to use that here. He's trying to dismantle Stony Brook on their home turf. In the first pitch, Lutner showing bunt, but the ball was outside, and it's ball 1. Stanton Luther trying to get something going for Stony Brook as they trail 3-0 in the bottom of the second. The 1-0 catches the outside corner for ball 2. Looked a little too outside, but the ref saw that it was just staying in there enough. Stanton Luther in the middle of the batting order. The 1-1, he goes this one out to right center field. That's going to go in the hole for a base hit. Luther will stay at first, and he gives Stony Brook their first base hit of this game, and that's one that they needed. Lutner able to see a good haul in that action. Not there enough for Quinn McDaniel to try and jump for the catch. It was just many feet ahead of him. If anything, that just had to be picked up by Planty, trying to keep Lutner at base. So, man on first with 1 out. The freshman Evan Fox coming in. In their first pitch, he'll ground it over gingerly to third. However, it'll go across the third base line and will remain foul. Well, the way that ball was bouncing, it looked like it was pretty hard to see whether or not it was going to be bouncing enough to allow Fox to be safe at first. But the freshman from Balton Spa, New York, is trying to work as hard as he can to try and give Stony Brook a little boost. He's averaging .260 on the year. He's coming off of a game where he was 0-3 against UAlbany, but was able to come home after he did draw a walk. Pickoff move at first to Lutner, unsuccessful. Could not get to Bramante in time. There was a point yesterday where UAlbany did manage to pick off Stony Brook. Lutner running, first pitch, it goes through the hole in left field. That's going to fall for another base hit. And Stony Brook may have something going here. You get a man on first and second with 1 out. And Evan Fox able to cash in on the second hit for Stony Brook. Lutner was stealing, but that base hit didn't really have enough distance to put Lutner at third base. Either way, Stony Brook is also in scoring position now. And they'll need this with Cole Durkin coming up to bat. So Cole Durkin, who wears number 8, averaging .222 on the year. He gets himself set now. The quick time called. Junior outfielder from Jefferson, Massachusetts. So we are just waiting to work out the kinks, and we are waiting to see what's going on. First pitch was a called strike. 0-1. The 0-1 goes up high for ball 1. So they're looking to try and settle themselves in. Stony Brook, with a home run, can tie this game up at 3. They really need this one, trying to get the hits batting going. Quick time is called. 1:36 right now on the East Coast. Stony Brook trailing 3-0 to Maine. We are just once again experiencing some technical difficulties and looking to see what's going on. Waiting to see what it is as the camera out of Joe Nathan Field seems to be having some technical difficulties. We get it back over to the live stats to look at for, but problem is they are many minutes behind. So we're just continuing to wait and see what the situation is right now at Joe Nathan Field. So, while we remain patient, we'll be right back.
Today, all Americans are feeling the pinch of high energy prices. And this winter, the cost of heating your home could account for nearly half of your energy bill. I'm Energy Secretary Sam Bodman, with steps you can take to save money and make your home more energy efficient. First, give your home furnace or heat pump a checkup to ensure it's running as efficiently as possible. Proper installation in attic, ceilings, floors, crawl spaces, and exterior and basement walls can save 30% on your home energy bill.
So, after the technical difficulties, they were able to get back, and during that unexpected break, there was a ground out initiated by Cole Durkin. So he moved Fox over to second and Luthner over to third, but he grounded out. And so Brad Hipsley will come up. Count is now 1-0 on Hipsley. Man on second and third with 2 out. Hipsley starting to see some more action after he's gotten back from an injury that he sustained through the season. The 1-0 goes down low, count 2-0. Down low, 2-0. Joe Nathan Fields not have the proper. They have on turf and not dirt. It's probably best. You don't need to worry about a tarp. The 2-0. He lines this one across the right field, and that is foul. Count 2-1. Trying to get Fox and Luthner moving in any way he can. It's going to take a lot of strategy in order to work that out. We got the camera back. It's working the best that it can in these rainy conditions. From Lewis to 2-1. And this one going down low. And it's now 3-1. Noah Lewis trying to get himself settled up. Trying to get one more out to keep Stony Brook scoreless. The 3-1. And it's down the middle for a called strike. The count's now full. Brett Paulson will be up next. Paulson in the bottom of the batting order is not one you would usually see after he's been looking like more in the heart of it during this season. Now the full count. And it's ball 4. So Ripsley will draw the walk. And we have bases loaded. And like that, we get ourselves to the bottom of the batting order where Brett Paulson awaits. Looking to try and get a little move going. He is averaging .250 on the year. Batting righty. We'll see how this righty versus righty battle goes. The first pitch to Paulson is down the middle for a called strike. 0-1. Well, you have runners in scoring position, and you know you have 2 outs, but you need to make that not the case. You need to make more of the bases loaded the case. Waits till 0-1. He swings and misses. It's suddenly 0-2. For Brett Paulson, he has yet to capture a single home run on the year, but has driven in 22 RBIs. A quick time call again. Terrain just moving up from his knees, getting a little more up forward. Just a little quick one action called. And now the 0-2. And he wants this one over to the right field. Passes by the first baseman for a base hit. And Luthner will come in to score. Followed by Evan Fox. And a 2 RBI single by Brett Paulson with 2 outs. And Stony Brook has cut the deficit to 1. What a big time RBI hit made by Brett Paulson to get Stony Brook back in this game. Exactly the type of answer that the Seawolves needed out of their second baseman. And such a big time action just really went by Bramonti. No chance for him to pick that up. And really, Paulson, as I said, not usually one to be at the bottom of the batting order, because when you're in the middle of the batting order all season long, that means that you have something special to be a part of, and that was just something special for Paulson right there. And nothing could have been bigger than that. Maine looked like they had a good early start to the game, but Stony Brook has been able to cut back into it. So with that, we will head to the top now of the batting order, where John LaRocca awaits. John LaRocca, who struck out his last time up, has a chance with a base hit to tie the game back up. It would be big here to see how much action is going. So just going to take a quick second. We have some technical difficulties to get through. And they finish it up now. And now the first pitch is a called strike, 0-1. LaRocca looking to try and get a little more settling down. Now the 0-1. He hits this one out deep to right center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Paulson moving to second, Hipsley rounding home, and he makes it. And we are tied at 3. What a big-time base hit by John LaRocca. The base hits are starting to pile on for Stony Brook. 3-3 is your score. John LaRocca able to find that hole. Not even a single chance either for Quinn McDaniel to get one down. And with that, Evan Giordano is going to come up to bat. And his base hit can probably bring home Brett Paulson. That would put Stony Brook up on top. Noah Lewis starting to look like he's in some sort of trouble. The first pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Evan Giordano, he grounded out to Noah Lewis his last time up. Wants to do better. Gets set now, the 0-1. And he hits this one over to second. Gets past the second baseman. It's another base hit. It comes over to Paulson. He's going over to home. And Stony Brook is in front. It's now 4-3. The Stony Brook Seawolves lead. Unbelievable. What another big-time hit made. And with that, it looks like we're also having a little bit of an injury timeout. And it looks like one of the main players, if anything, went over to that field actually. Brett Paulson able to use his speed, tried to throw it over well enough to the catcher, just went past terrain. And Paulson able to move home. And Stony Brook really has something going here. It's an RBI double it goes down as. And with that, take a little quick injury timeout as it looks like Sean Layler has his right arm hurting. Maybe put a little too much oomph into that pitch. And that's not something you want from your left fielder, especially when he's put in that position. So that means that somebody else is going to have to come in for him. It's being dragged by the training staff over to the main dugout. But really, after Maine got the first 3 runs of this game, Stony Brook currently on a 4-0 run. They have gotten 4 runs so far in the bottom of the third, all on 2 outs. It starts off with John Tutillo grounding out to third, and then you get a couple of base hits by Stanton Luthner and Evan Fox. And after that, Cole Durkin grounds out, and that allows Fox to move over to second and Luthner home to third. And then what starts off is Brad Hipsley drawing the walk to have the bases loaded. And you get a 2-out, 2 RBI single by Brett Paulson. And then after that, a base hit by John LaRocca to bring home Paulson. And then Giordano to get the base hit to bring Hipsley. Then Paulson by Giordano's RBI single. So Stony Brook up 4-3 right now is unbelievable. It's really amazing. This is pretty much the flash of what we saw from Stony Brook yesterday when they were down 2-0 in the bottom of the 9th. They really needed to find an answer, and an answer they got. Much like the one that they're getting right now. So Maine is just taking a few minutes to get a new left fielder in place. We'll get you an answer very shortly on who it's going to be. But we will step aside for a second as they're still in the injury timeout. So Stony Brook up 4-3 in the bottom of the second with 2 out. We'll be right back after these messages.
Okay, let's see if we covered all the dangers your little brother might find. Gates at the top and bottom of the stairs?
Check.
All household chemicals and bug sprays stored in high-latched cupboards?
Check. Kiwanis International has a long history of caring for kids. Working with leading safety organizations, Kiwanis has developed a home safety checklist and other brochures to help prevent injuries to children. Visit our website at servingchildren.org.
Knives, tools, and sharp objects safely put away?
Check! Kiwanis International, serving the children of the world.
Hello, I'm Edward Asner. As a pet owner, you take care of your pet every day. What if something happens to you? What will happen to your pet? It's an important question, and the Humane Society of the United States can help with the answers. From tips on finding a caretaker to providing for your pet in your will, it's all in a free kit called Providing for Your Pet's Future Without You. Don't let your best friend down. Call 202-452-1100 to order your kit today.
So, we're back here in the studios of WUSB. They're still in a timeout, believe it or not. It's taking a little while for the left fielder to be dragged out, probably, to try and work through as much as they can. So they eventually get a new left fielder in, and like that, Chris Hamilton up to bat. Stony Brook up 4-3 in the bottom of the second. And let's see how much more damage they can try and do. For Hamilton, he is up. And we'll see what he can do. In the first pitch, Hamilton, he gets this one over to the right side of the base hit. And that comes Jorio down to third. LaRocca's going to come home. Hits. RBIs. Still coming. Stony Brook up 5-3 now. It keeps going. 3 straight RBI hits. And something like that just really nuts. And Stony Brook really putting up all the dangers on Noah Lewis, and there has not yet been any sign of Noah Lewis coming out yet. And we'll see whether or not it's going to be anything big to watch out for. So, John Tuccillo is coming up to bat. And for Tuccillo, the first pitch, and he lets this one out to center field through the turf. Another base hit. He gets Hamilton to third. Giordano rounding home. He's in time. 6-3, Stony Brook. John Tuccillo advancing to second on the throw. What a big splurge by Stony Brook here in the bottom of the second. They are up 6-3 now against the Maine Black Bears. They are just continuing to really pour this game going, and really Noah Lewis's worst nightmare. So Stanton Luthner is now at the bat. Can he do any damage? The first pitch is down the middle for a called strike, 0-1. So we are pretty much seeing, we saw back-to-back first pitch, 2-out RBI base hits by Chris Hamilton and John Tuccillo to bring home runners. As the 0-1 goes on the outside for ball 1. Luthner coming back up to bat after he pretty much started the whole hitting fiasco for Stony Brook with a base hit, while John with 1 out. The 1-1, he grounds this one over the second, picked up by McDaniel, gets the throw over to Bramante, and that will finally end the inning. Severe damage. Stony Brook was down 3-0, but they have their lead, but they have doubled a lead against Maine. They are up 6-3 in the bottom after 2 innings. 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 2 left on base. So with that, we will take another quick break, and when we come back, inning number 3.
Hi, this is Montel Williams for the Humane Society of the United States. They're playful and affectionate, aloof and mysterious. They're also the most frequent occupants of America's animal shelters, where millions end up each year. They're cats. America's most popular pets, but also the pet most likely to die prematurely from disease, poison, animal abuse, and collision with vehicles because many people let their cats roam freely. To protect your cats from harm, please keep them indoors. A safe cat is a happy cat.
So, we return now to Joe Nathan Field, but we're still in the studios of WUSB. Zach Wilson on the call here, giving you Stony Brook baseball action to 2021 America East Baseball Tournament, live on 90.1 FM, WSB Stony Brook. So, with that, we finally head to the third inning after Stony Brook down 3-0 has their lead against Maine. Seawolves are up double Maine, 6-3. And so Connor Goodman will be up to bat. His first pitch, he gets hit. Got whacked hard, and he'll take his move over to first after being hit by a pitch. You don't want that to start in the inning at all, and I really don't know what more Brian Herman was really thinking about that. Just like that, we got our quick second hitter coming up here in this inning. Ryan Turan, who drew a 5-pitch walk his last time up in the top of the first. The first pitch is a called strike, 0-1. Ryan Turan with the catcher, he didn't really have the motif that he wanted in that last half inning after pretty much Maine being in jeopardy, as the 0-1 is on the outside for ball 1. Connor Goodman maybe hit, but still looking as he is out just a few feet outside the bag. The 1-1 goes upstairs, now count 2-1. Stony Brook up 6-3 in the top of the third, trying to use that lead to keep it roaring so they can continue their season from after this game. 2-1, ball goes on the outside, and the count now 3-1. After getting the first strike, Herman quickly falls behind 3-1. And the 3-1, it catches the outside corner for a called strike. Count is now full. Goodman still at first. Here's the throw, and it goes. Swing and a miss, strike 3 called, and Goodman is able to make it safely over to second. He gets the stolen base, but Herman strikes out Terrain for out number 1. Well, who knows what you want on that if you're Stony Brook. Well, the fact is, there's another man on second again, but this time there is an out. And so somebody else, other Sean Lawler, is going to come in. It's actually going to be Ryan Williams. Is it Williams? Well, we could be thinking that the name is Williams. The first pitch is a called strike, 0-1. Williams is coming in for an injured Sean Layler. Who knows what kind of impact this will have on Maine from here on out. Richie Williams actually in the 0-1 is on the outside for ball 1. Richie Williams in for an injured Sean Layler, and we'll see where this continues to go from here on out. As the 1-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. For Richie Williams, we're waiting to see any stats that he has. Doesn't seem to be too much on him. It's a 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 called, and that is the second out. Back-to-back strikeouts by Brian Herman to get where he wanted to go, and that is what allows Brian Herman to get 2 outs so far. So Scout Knotts back up to bat, got the RBI double his last time up, and we'll see where this goes with him. The first pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Maine still with a man on second, but with 2 out. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Count now 0-2 quickly on Scout Knotts. He's looking to get himself now. The 0-2. He fouls this one along the first base line. It's a foul ball. We're still at 0-2. May still be 0-2, but the time changes. It's 1:56 right now on the East Coast. Still 6-3 Stony Brook. Again the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3 called, and that will retire the side. No hits, no runs. Brian Herman getting through a masterful top of the third, looking better than he did in the last inning. 3 strikeouts, and that will bring us to the bottom of the third inning. Stony Brook maintaining their 6-3 lead, and we will be right back after these messages as Stony Brook still up double Maine's score. Zach Wilson on the call, giving you Stony Brook baseball action live on 90.1 FM WUSB Stony Brook.
Maria is a model of efficiency. With her life, she has to be.
Bob, you get the door. I'll get the baby. And a fresh blouse for work.
So when tax time rolls around, Maria knows how to get the job done with a minimum of fuss and muss. She goes to IRS.gov.
My kind of place.
It has easy online tools, like calculators for figuring your withholding and to see if you qualify for some of the many 2009 tax credits. It tells you if you're eligible for Free File and how to e-file your tax return too.
No paperwork. That works for me.
If you owe money and can't pay, you can set up a payment plan. And if you're getting a refund, you can track it online. IRS.gov. It's a real time saver. And who couldn't use more of that?
Buddy! Buddy? Come back here.
So, back here now, here in the studios of WSB, it's the bottom of the third inning, but already 9 combined runs by both teams, but the biggest part of it, Stony Brook is up 6-3. So, we will now head to Evan Fox, part of the meat of the batting order for Stony Brook, and the first pitch is on the outside for ball 1. And we have ourselves a new pitcher now for the Black Bears after Noah Lewis had not looked good with that giving up 6 runs in that inning. The 0-1. He actually was 1-0, but now it's 1-1 as Fox swings and misses for strike 1. Jacob Small up to bat now for the Black Bears. He has a 5.5 ERA and is making his 12th appearance of the season. And now the 1-1. And Fox grounds this one over the third, picked up by Goodman. He'll get the throw over to Bermonti, and that will take out Fox for out number 1. Well, you figured that Maine, after all the problems that they had a little while ago, they need to get some better looks. So, now you get Cole Durkin up to bat. The first pitch, called strike, 0-1. Cole Durkin, who grounded out to the pitcher in his last time up. You can imagine anything that he'll try to be part of those magical hits. Only 1 of 3 so far. The 0-1 goes upstairs for ball 1. Cole Durkin was really faced with some hard hits thrown his way back in the top of the second inning, and it didn't really look like where he wanted it to go. As the 1-1 swings and misses, strike 2. Well, if Maine going to get back in this game, they need the pitching to get back on track, and that starts off with Jacob Small. 18 innings bad so far this year. Swing and a miss, strike 3 called. And so Durkin is out, and that will be 2 outs. As I said, Maine really needs to start getting back into the groove because they are now down by as much as they were up before Stony Brook had that big-time look in the bottom of the second. So Brad Hipsley coming up to bat now for the Seawolves. He got himself a walk his last time up that loaded the bases before everything started rolling. First pitch, upstairs, ball 1. You can imagine everything Brad Hipsley has done for this team ever since he came back from his injury just about a few weeks ago. It's really changed the thing. As the 1-0, he looks this one as it goes right down Broadway for a called strike, 1-1. Brad Hipsley in the 8th spot, designated hitter. Doesn't really have anything big out usually, but he does play infield most often. The 1-1, he flies this one out to center field. Under it is going to be Reynes, and he makes the catch, and that will retire the side. So, Maine lenient this time after Jacob Small comes in for them. A 1-2-3 inning for the Black Bears. We get through 3. It's now time for the 4th inning. We'll be right back after these quick messages.
Since 1982, Last Hope Incorporated, Animal Rescue and Rehabilitation, has been making weekly trips to local municipal shelters on the island to rescue cats and dogs that are death's due. They have initiated a fix-a-feral program to make the spay and neuter of feral cats financially feasible. They operate an adoption program for cats and dogs, and they respond to calls for assistance from the public with injured cats. To volunteer or for more information, you may contact them at 631-425-1884 or visit them on the web at www.lasthopeanimalrescue.com. Thank you.
So, after 3 innings, we're going to the 4th inning now, as Stony Brook with a 6-3 lead. Taking a little time before we get this, as we're going to have something different now. Evan Fox had his game, but now he is out, and Derek Yallen will be in for him, as he is currently at left field. Derek Yellen has some time this year. Usually him and Cole Durkin, you can imagine both two trying to be who they are. So Maine back up to bat, trailing by 3 to Stony Brook. You get Joe Bramante up. And the first pitch to him. In the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Joe Bramante, he got an RBI double his last time up. And who knows whether or not he'll have that big stride again. The 0-1. Swings and misses for strike 2. He's quickly behind 0-2 now. Well, who knows how much longer it's going to take before Maine's going to come back into this game. It could take them a little while. Herman staying in the game so far, still despite giving up 3-1. The 0-2. He goes outside on this one. It's ball 1. After Bramante, Jake Marquez. NGIT, they're nowhere in sight. They don't want to be outside, even though they would like to look on a little scouting report themselves. As the 1-2, it goes inside and nearly clips Bramante. Count 2-2. 2 straight strikes, then 2 straight balls. It's all that. And the 2-2. This one is lifted out into right field. Under it is Durkin right there, and this time he is able to make the catch for out number 1. Well, I told you before in that top of the second, there were 2 balls hit towards his way, but neither one that he could really get to. So, 1 out, Jake Marquez up to bat. Marquez, who also part of that hitting game going in the top of the second. The first pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Jake Marquez in the 7th spot. The way he started today, looks like somebody that could be a little higher than that. But 3 runs and 3 hits so far for Maine in this game. That's not enough compared to Stony Brook. The 1-0. And this one he swings and misses at strike 1. Marquez does what he can, but there are times where he can't. The 1-1. It looks at this one as a called strike. It goes down Broadway. Count 1-2. After Marquez, you get Reynes up to bat. Herman getting himself set. He just calls for a quick time. 2:05 right now on the East Coast. Joe Nathan Field, Stony Brook up 6-3 against the Maine Black Bears, who in day 3 of the America East Baseball Tournament. Winner of this one goes to take on NGIT. Loser goes home, and their season over. Herman gets set now. The 1-2. And swing, and it misses. And it's strike 3 call. I meant to say that he was looking at this one. Herman had Marquez frozen. And that's the second out. 2 away now, as Herman has retired the last 5 batters. So Jake Reynes will come up to bat now. He grounded out to the pitch after Herman his last time up. First pitch, caught looking, called strike, 0-1. Doesn't get more hard than this. Maine had a great look offensively in the top of the second, but this top of the third, hard to see what it is. And the 0-1, it's upstairs. Ball 1. Count even up at 1-1. Herman working his way out of trouble after that trouble was from the top of the second. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Colin Plant, Jake Reynes is really trying to do what he can, if anything. Trying to get some hits going. And from Herman, the 1-2. He lines this one out to second. It's caught by Luthner, the shortstop, and that will retire the side. So, a 1-2-3 inning for a type of hitting game that Stony Brook has looked all season long, as Brett Paulson will come up to bat. First pitch, he looks as it goes inside for ball 1. Jacob Small still at the mound for the Black Bears, doing everything they can to keep them at bay. See how long it goes. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss on Paulson for strike one. Well, looks like it's going to take a lot of, probably some sort of miracle. We're almost halfway through this game, of course. It's the 1-1. Paulson looks this one and goes upstairs, ball two. Brett Paulson, I keep saying that he usually is more looked at being in the heart of the batting order more this season than in the right. But everybody healthy, you gotta make those moves. 2-1. He lifts this one out to right, lifts this one up to the middle. That's gonna pass the second baseman, and it'll be a base hit. Brett Paulson is gonna move over to first, and a leadoff hit by Brett Paulson to begin the bottom of the fourth. I told you Brett Paulson has to be better than where he stands right now, and you could pretty much think that that could be the case. Who knows where it will be most of the time. So, John LaRocca is up to bat. Back to the top of the batting order we go. The first pitch to LaRocca. He hits this one out to right field. That's going to go down to the turf for another base hit. Picked up by Planty. He can't get a good throw on it. It's going to go by the second baseman. It's going to go past the wall. Brett Paulson rounding around third. He's going to get the green light. Going over the home is in time. LaRocca moves to third. Brett Paulson scores. You may much go down like that. That's an unearned run for Paulson, but Stony Brook is now up 7-3. And you have nobody out. John LaRocca at first. It'll be an E9. It's maybe well you want to put it right there, but really, disaster, it just continues for the Black Bears. It's not been pretty at all for them. And we'll see what happens here as Evan Giordano will come up to bat. Let's see if he can add something after he got an RBI base hit his last time up. First pitch, swings and misses, strike one. We're having technical difficulties still with the live stream, but live stats are keeping us working for us for the way that we can interpret what the game's going on. As the 0-1 goes in the dirt for ball one. Evan Giordano continue to talk about how he has been used more at the top of the batting order this year. And apparently that does lead to the usual looks of him having a great year as a 1-1. Swings and misses, strike two. It can get a little dicey sometimes, but you can figure it won't. 1-2. It goes upstairs. Ball goes upstairs. It's ball two. Evan Giordano trying to be patient. Has one of the best batting averages on the team. 2-2. He looks at this one and goes down Broadway, and he's caught looking for out number one. So Jacob Small able to deal with him. That'll get us down now to Chris Hamilton. Hamilton, who had a base hit his last time up. We'll see where he goes with it. First pitch to him. It's upstairs. It's ball one. Chris Hamilton, he is one of two so far. You can pretty much say that that's what it is. Here's the 1-0. He looks at that one. Looks like that one is strike one. Swings and misses. Chris Hamilton with LaRocca at third and nobody out. Let's see if we can get him there. The 1-1. And Hamilton grounds this one over to first. It's going to have to be Bramante going over to first to take out Hamilton, but that does not matter. LaRocca getting good luck on that one. Goes home. It's now 8-3 Stony Brook. Well, that just continues to keep the runs churning for Stony Brook, and this is what we're pretty much expecting Stony Brook to be all season long. And I don't know what more it's going to take for Maine to get out of this inning as John Tutillo will come up to bat. There's nobody on and two out. First pitch, Tutillo hits that one over to third base. That's going to stay fair. It's a base hit. John Tutillo is going to round it around and gets to first. A two-out base hit by number 45, the catcher. And this inning's not going to be over yet. We'll see how long it's going to take for Maine still, because Stony Brook has the hits where they want him, 10 right now. And now Stanton Luthner will be up to bat. Luthner, who grounded to second his last time up. Here's the throw, and it goes. It's ball upstairs, and Tuccillo is going to remain safe at second. And it's going to successfully steal. John Tuccillo, known for doing that this year too. He has had great looks with his stolen bases. As I look up to see where he has been with that this year, that is, of course, his 10th successful stolen base of the year. Another one on Luthner. And he hits this one going up the middle past the second baseman for a base hit. Tuccillo grounding third. He's going to come home. John Tuccillo with great eyes on the steal because now it's a 2-out RBI base hit. Stony Brook extending the lead. They are up 9-3. Shall the carnage continue? It just doesn't get any more crazier than this. This has really been Maine's worst nightmare and probably the worst way they could imagine going out this season. Because things are starting to look really tough for them. As Derek Yallen, who comes in for Evan Fox, is up to bat. The first pitch, and it's a ball, and it will be Luthner that will steal second as well. Back-to-back stolen bases by Tuccillo and Luthner, so you get a man on second with 2 out. Counts is 1-0. And the throw, and he swings and misses for strike 1. Well, Derek Yallen on the year. We're expecting him to be in today. But that pretty much caught us off guard. He is averaging 220. The 1-1. Nicks Yallen right in the hip. He's okay, folks. He's just going to move over to first. And Disaster continuing to hit Jacob Small and not much going. And you get a mound visit, and it looks like that might do it for Jacob Small. There hasn't really been any good luck with where they have head so far today with where they want to go, and I just don't know. I mean, even I'm not sure what more it's going to take for them to get out of this inning, but we do know that this is a pitching change, and that means we will take another break. So, Stony Brook with 2 outs so far here in the bottom of the 4th, but they have gotten 3 more runs. They're up 9-3, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Close your eyes for a moment. Now imagine you're away from it all. Beside a crystal-clear mountain stream, the cool grass crunches underfoot. Take a deep breath and drink in the sound of water cascading over the stones as birds call out from above. A real paradise like this isn't easy to come by, but it does still exist. And with your help, places like this one can last forever. You see, the Nature Conservancy works locally with communities, businesses, and people like you to preserve the most precious natural places around the world. They protect the animals that live there, the plants that grow there, and even the water. That way, this beautiful place will be beautiful forever. And we'll make sure that closing your eyes will never be the only way to get there. I'm Paul Newman. Help the Nature Conservancy save the last great places.
Visit the Nature Conservancy at nature.org. That's nature.org.
My son Daku was riding a motorcycle when he was struck by a car. He was taken to a hospital, very critical. He was not expected to make it.
The sudden loss of a loved one. It's something you can never prepare for. But discussing organ and tissue donation can help.
It was so helpful knowing that I had discussed the decision to donate his organs with Daku prior to his death. It helped me, it helped my family, it would help everyone. I didn't have to feel guilty about making a decision, doing something that he may not have wanted.
Please share your decision to become an organ and tissue donor with your family today.
Every day I tell people, talk it over. You must let people know what you want.
Organ and tissue donation. Share your life. Share your decision. Call 1-800-355-SHARE for a free brochure. 1-800-355-SHARE. A message from the Advertising Council and the Coalition on Donation.
And so we're back now as the Black Bears complete their pitching change at Joe Nathan Field. Stony Brook up 9-3 against Maine in the bottom of the fourth with 2 out. And really, the trouble just has been continuing to pile on for, if anything, I don't know what more it's going to take before Maine can get themselves out of this rut. But at this rate, it's hard to tell when this game will be over, too, because more hits and runs there are, the longer this game could be. As Peter Kemble will take the mound now for the Black Bears. Peter Kemble on the year, averaging 7.7. It has a 7.50 ERA. He has only 1 start this year, and this is his 8th appearance. He will now face off against Cole Durkin. We'll see what Durkin does. He is 0-2 on the day. The first pitch, it goes way upstairs. It goes past terrain, and so it'll go down as a wild pitch. Yallen moving over to second. Luthner going over to third. So with 2 outs, you still have a chance for 2 more runs to be called in should a base hit happen. Counts 1-0. The 1-0 now, as Durkin hits this one along the right field line, that's going to go for a foul ball. Count 1-1. See what Kemble does to try and get out of this inning after a small, left a little more disaster as the 1-1. This one is fouled again. Count now 1-2. Cole Durkin batting in the 7th spot, plays out at right field. 3 balls thrown his way today, was only able to capitalize on 1-3. As the 1-2, and he looks at this one as it goes for ball 2. Count is now 2-2 on Durkin. We'll see what there is that he can try and do if he has a chance to bring home Yallen and Luthner. 2-2, here's the throw. A swing and a miss, strike 3 called. And so that will retire the side. End the inning through 4. 3 more runs cashed in by Stony Brook. They now take a 9-3 lead after 4 innings. We are nearing the halfway point of this game. We get to the top of the 5th at Joe Nathan Field. We will be right back after more messages.
Hello, I'm Mary Tyler Moore. Animals want to tell you about the hidden cruelty in the estrogen drug Premarin, which is made from the urine of pregnant mares. The horse is one of nature's most beautiful animals, yet sadly, tens of thousands are chained year after year in tiny stalls for much of their 11-month pregnancies to collect their urine. They cannot take more than a step in any direction, turn around, or even lie down comfortably because of the urine collection bags strapped to them 24 hours a day. Join me and all the women and doctors who will no longer use or prescribe Premarin. There are other effective estrogen drugs made from synthetic or plant-based sources which can relieve menopausal symptoms and prevent osteoporosis. I've switched, and I feel great. For more information on Premarin and its alternatives, please call PETA. Thank you.
757-622-PETA.
Well, we know the calls, but call right here is the one that I'm making as you're listening to WUSB, the longtime home for Seawolves Athletics on 90.1 FM. Stony Brook Baseball playing here in Day 3 of the America East Baseball Tournament against the Maine Black Bears, looking stronger than they did Day 1 against them after the top-notch Sinicola really dealt them hard. But Stony Brook doesn't have to worry about that today. They've been using that to their advantage. So, we now head to the top of the 5th inning as Maine back up to bat, looking down at a 6-run deficit. Planty is up to bat, and the first pitch to him by Herman is for ball 1. So far today, Brian Herman has allowed 3 hits, 3 earned runs, got allowed a walk, and has put up 7 strikeouts. And here's the 1, and swings and misses for strike 1. Colin Planty grounded out to Herman his last time up. We'll see if there's anything more that Planty will try and work towards. The 1-1 from Herman, and he lifts this one out to left field. That's going to touch the turf, and it looks like Fox is going to have to look at that. I meant Yallen for a base hit. So a leadoff base hit once again by Maine, and Colin Planty is able to do that. To get a man on first with nobody out, and that'll send us to the top of the batting order again, where Quinn McDaniel awaits. Quinn McDaniel, who is 0 of 2 today, struck out both times against Brian Herman. They had a little quick time called. Brian Herman, who has been trying to do what he could today. The first pitch, upstairs for ball 1. Quinn McDaniel not having the start that he wanted today as opposed to the one that he had against Stony Brook back on Thursday. As the 1-0, he fouls this one along the third base line. Count now 1-1. After Quinn McDaniel, Connor Goodman would be up to bat. Now 2-1 coming up. Actually 1-1, but now it's 2-1. That's the ball. A little while. 2-1. Grounds this one over to Paulson. He gets a throw over to Lutner for out. He gets over to Hamilton in time. Double play. Unbelievable. How about that? You kept that down as a 4-6-3 double play, and just like that, there was a man on first, and now you get 2 out. So, 2 out here at Joe Nathan Field, and top of the fifth for Maine. Let's get Connor Goodman up to bat. Big time play by the infield of Stony Brook. Just going to take a quick second once more. And I don't know how much more bigger that could have been for them, as they were able to get the business that they needed. Connor Goodman, 0 of 1. The first pitch is outside for ball 1. Righty versus righty on this one. So just give us 1 second as we're also looking for... Just making sure that we got all the necessary royalties. Count's still 1-1. They're actually still waiting for a second. Really, that double play that happened after Colin Planty got the base hit to begin the top of the fifth. Things just kind of changing from there on out, it would seem. You can really imagine just what they want. So bear in mind with me, ladies and gentlemen, just want to make sure that the problem is all fixed. It looks like we're just about getting ourselves ready to finish it up. The 1-0. And he grounds this one over to Herman. He gets it up cleanly. He gets the throw over to Hamilton, and that will retire the side. So, technically 1-2-3 despite 1 hit. However, Stony Brook does keep Maine scoreless once again. So, we get to the bottom of the 5th. Stony Brook still up 9-3 against the Black Bears. We will be right back.
This is Jimmy. Animals like Jimmy are often left behind by people fleeing hurricanes, fires, floods, and earthquakes. These abandoned animals cannot survive on their own. If you must evacuate your home, please never leave an animal behind. If you absolutely cannot take your animal with you, never leave him helplessly chained or caged. Many animals die because they cannot escape fires or rising waters. Animals need your help. Thank you.
Call PETA today, 757-622-PETA.
So we're back now as a quick time reliever or not. So we head to the bottom of the 6th, but Stony Brook up 9-3 against Maine. Peter Kemble still up to bat for the Black Bears, and the first pitch of Brad Hipsley swings and misses for strike 1. Believe it or not, we're finally tuned here, and this is just turning into a desperate time for the Black Bears. They looked good against Stony Brook, but now they look off today. 1-1 is actually now. The ball went inside to count quickly 2-1. May have missed the pitch before, but it looks like at Joe Nathan Field, the cameras there are finally starting to get finally functional again. It's for the time being, of course. 2-1 to Hipsley. Goes inside, and it catches the corner for a strike. Count 2-1. From our angle, it looks like it nearly has chances to hit Hipsley. Of course, he is way near the corner. Here's a 2-2. This one is outside. The count now full. Haven't really seen a full count in a little while, believe it or not. After Hipsley, Brett Paulson will be up. Hipsley flew out to center his last time up. The full count throw goes upstairs, and that will draw the full count walk. So Brad Hipsley going to base for the second time today, and that's the second time today that he has drawn a walk against the Maine pitchers. Well, you get a little experience right there from Brad Hipsley, and he knows what he's doing. Gets good read, gets good eyes. Doesn't need to worry about the sun getting in his face. So, Brett Paulson will be up to bat. He's been electric today. 2-2, RBI. 2-2 with the hits. And the first pitch is outside for ball 1. It's the bottom of the batting order, but really you may still be looking at it as a meet. Here's the 1-0. And this one is swung on and missed. Actually, it was out upstairs trying to figure out the good angle on it. Count now 2-0. Camera's still looking at it. And with that 2-0. Waiting for the next pitch. Continues to get the read on Jacob Small. It goes down the middle for a strike. It was before 3-0 and now it's 3-1. There you go with that cardinal rule. You don't usually swing on 3-0. Of course, if you remember last year in that shortened MLB season, Pete Alonso broke it. And that result was a home run, of course. Kemble taking his time, was getting a little quick time. See Hipsley a few feet away from first. 3-1, it's upstairs for ball 4. And so that's another walk drawn by the Seawolves. Back-to-back walks from Hipsley and Paulson. So you get a man on first and second with nobody out. And we have ourselves another mound visit coming up. Time is winding down on Maine to save their season, and things are not looking good for them at all. They really wish that Sinicola was at his best. And this just has not been their day so far. Ever since they were up 3-0 in the top of the second, they have given up 9 straight runs, and that is not what you want if you're Maine. A team that just barely made into the America East playoffs, being out probably Binghamton or Hartford or something like that. Those were teams that could have been a thorn on Stony Brook's side. We talked about for years how Binghamton has been that case, but they are not this year since they're not in the America East Baseball Tournament. For Hartford, they could have contended well with Stony Brook, but after what Stony Brook did to them early this season at Joe Nathan Field to begin the month of April, sweeping them in 4 games. So we return to the top of the batting order. John LaRocca out of that mound visit. The first pitch goes off of the catcher of Tulane. It didn't go off of him that much. It is still ball 1. The runners will stay where they are at first and second. Scary stuff set now. Peter Kemble looking. It's already been 3 pitchers used by Maine still. Herman's still there for Stony Brook because he doesn't have to worry. Now the 1-0 goes just upstairs on a curveball. Count now 2-0. Well, this is already the 3rd pitcher that Maine's going to be using. Can you imagine if they're going to be using a 4th? We are in the bottom of the 5th. I'm saying the 6th before, but it is still the 5th. We are at the halfway point. 2-0 as Rolaka grounds this one. It'll foul along the first base line. It's now 2-1. For LaRocca, he's had a good game today. He is 2 of 3. A couple of base hits. His last at-bat where he got the base hit made it all the way home on an error by the right fielder. LaRocca facing a 2-1. The throw from Kemble. He's showing bunt. And it went into the glove of the catcher. And according to the ump, that's not a strike. So the count should be 3-1. If it is what it is, unless it was a foul ball. We don't really see it like that. So yep, it's definitely ball 3. The count 3-1 now. The throw. And this one goes inside into the dirt. And that's ball 4. It's another 5-pitch walk drawn by the Seawolves. John LaRocca at base for the 3rd time today. And we have the bases loaded and nobody out. And Terrain just taking a quick second as he was kind of hurt. Ball may have nicked him where it's not pretty, where the sun don't shine. So now Maine down series again, in jeopardy of giving up double-digit runs to Stony Brook. This is the most runs that a team has scored in a game here so far in the playoffs. This is what we wanted out of Stony Brook from day one. They didn't really get it, but they are starting to do that. And for Evergier down, the first pitch is in the dirt for ball one. Terrain had to move it along a little to keep it from going away from him, or else the runners would have advanced, and eventually that would have allowed the man on third, which is Hipsley, to get there. 9-3 Stony Brook in the bottom of the fifth. 2:35 right now on the East Coast. Joe Nathan Field, the 1-0. And a check swing, he did go around. He broke his wrist. So the count is 1-1, a swing and a miss. I'm wondering whether or not this is all because Evan Giordano is not used to being the second batter. He's usually more used to batting first. We've seen him have that a lot this season. Here comes the 1-1. This one catches the inside corner on the breaking ball. Count now 1-2. One of the first two games for Stony Brook, their problem has been for the batters is that the breaking balls have really been their worst enemy. It's been really fooling them a lot. Who knows how much the wind can play a factor here midway through the game. The 1-2. This one goes outside and into the dirt again. Terrain having to move over to wake from Giordano. Count now 2-2. Hard for Peter Kemmel to get out of this inning. Even if it does go into a ground out, a double play, that would still give a good chance for Hipsley to move home. Seawolves are 90 feet away from getting double-digit runs. And the 2-2 is blasted out deep to left field. Under it, it's going to be a left fielder that looks like he'll make the catch. He will. Hipsley advancing over to home. The throw is not going to get there. It is cut off. And a sacrifice fly by Evan Giordano puts the Seawolves up 10-3. It looked like there could have been a chance to try and get there for Maine, but for Evan Giordano, but it was just a little lazily around out there. So it is donned by number 28, the left fielder. We have ourselves another mound visit, and we'll see whether or not this is going to be it for Peter Kemmel. He's just given up a run. Bases were loaded, and a sacrifice fly by Evan Giordano. We have a couple of players, and it looks like it is going to draw up another mound visit, another pitching change, and Zasters just continues to strike at Maine. So pitching change will mean that we'll be taking another quick timeout too. When we get back, another pitcher, Stony Brook keeping their lead. They're up 10-3 against Maine in the 2021 America East Baseball Tournament.
Your best friend is waiting for you at the Kent Animal Shelter. Need some love of the unconditional kind? The Kent Animal Shelter, located on River Road in Calverton, can help. We have many beautiful, healthy pets for adoption just waiting for you. All are spayed or neutered, vaccinated, and tested for feline AIDS and leukemia or canine heartworm. You can visit us on the web at www.kentanimalshelter.com or at the shelter Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Call our adoption center for more information. 631-727-5731.
And back in the studios of WUSB, we're looking at a remote broadcast of the Stony Brook baseball game here in the America East postseason. And as Black Bears make another pitching change, they bring in Tyler Nielsen to the mound, who has a 3.96 ERA. And this is the fourth pitcher used by Maine in this contest. Down 7, and are probably 4 innings away from their season being over. They had a great start to this postseason when they really used their best player in Nicholas Sinsacola, but now they're going to have to change things up. That left fielder was, of course, Richie Williams for Maine, after he came in when Lawler came out with an injury. So we resume action here in the bottom of the fifth with a man on first and second and 1 out. Paulson's at second, LaRocco's at first, and after Gio got the sacrifice fly to put up Stony Brook 10-3, you get Chris Hamilton up to bat. He had an RBI ground out to first his last time up. He is 1 of 3 on the day. We'll see how much more damage he can try and do. He's looking for another RBI on the day. Probably one that allows him to be safe on base. Still taking a little more time for Tyler Nielsen to get himself all settled up. Made his last start back on May 22nd against Albany. First pitch nearly catches Hamilton, but he gets out of the way in time. Almost caught a whiff of the inside corner, but it is ball one. Tyler Nielsen pitches lefty, freshman from Grafton, Massachusetts. No 1-0, swing and a miss. Hamilton couldn't get a good read on that. That may have been a little lower than he anticipated. The count is now 1-1. Chris Hamilton looking to try and do some more damage. Stony Brook up with double-digit runs in this contest. I mean, for Nicholas Sinicola, that really never happens. But for everybody else, it's probably the biggest reason why Maine is where they are right now in the tournament, as the 1-1 is another breaking ball in the inside corner, freezing Chris Hamilton. Strike two. Now for Chris Hamilton, he's in his grad year as well, being one of those super seniors on a team trying to contribute to Stony Brook getting back to the NCAA tournament. 1-2 goes down low, away from Hamilton, and into the dirt. It's ball two. Chris Hamilton, he had some good strides over the last few years for Stony Brook, including a summer collegiate baseball league that he was at in Albany, upstate, right near his hometown. Now for Hamilton, the 2-2, and he swings and misses, strike three called. And so two are out. That's the second time that Chris Hamilton has struck out in this contest. So with that, John Tuchil will come up to bat. Got a base hit his last time up. Then he stole second afterwards. Seawolves still looking to try and add some more damage if they can. It's 2:40 right now in the bottom of the fifth. We're still halfway through this game, believe it or not, which is really incredible. The first pitch to Tuchillo, the curveball on the outside for ball one. Nearly caught the corner, but just outside enough. Tuchillo on the day, he's 2 of 3. His first at-bat where he grounded out to third. Then after that, a couple of base hits, where his last one he eventually came all the way home. Tuchillo getting set now, the 1-0. Curveball going way outside. Nielsen couldn't get the angle he wanted. Wonder if wind's affecting him. Count 2-0. Well, you figured that when you play up north, there could be a lot of elements that can affect you. Can be colder for a little while longer. The fact is, Maine should be a lot more used to this than Stony Brook, probably. 2-0, and he hits this one out to left field. That's going to fall for a base hit. And rounding third, it's going to be Paulson. He's going to make it over to home. And Tuchillo does it again. It's another RBI single by number 45, and the Seawolves add the damage. They're up 11-3. John Tuchillo finding a good open hole over in the left field, and there's no chance at all for either the shortstop or the third baseman to pick it up. And Paulson, using his speed, his helmet nearly came up, but he was able to keep it on him. I mean, that doesn't really matter too much. But if anything, that was just another big-time hit by Stony Brook, and they just continue to make the hits look superb throughout this entire ball game. 12 hits in total by Stony Brook today. And the first pitch over to Stanton Luthner, it was wild, and the throw over to second is not in time, as LaRocca and Tuchillo capitalize on what looked like to be a wild pitch. So Rocca moved to second after that base hit from Tuchillo. He got to third, and Tuchillo was able to make it to second just before there was a chance for McDaniel to get him out. Count 1-0. The throw is down low for ball two. So if Stanton Luthner gets a base hit here, he can probably bring home both LaRocca and Tuchillo. Stony and Maine already still with the headache that they have. Nothing pretty for them at all. Ever since they were up 3-0, it was looking like we might do this again. Pitching may be good, but then that wasn't the case. And a 2-0, way inside. Terrain had to move for that one again, keep it where it was, to stop LaRocca from advancing to home on him. And now Nielsen is quickly behind 3-0. One ball away from the bases being loaded with 2 outs. You figure you just need one more out to get out of this inning. Ray giving up a couple of runs here in the bottom of the fifth. The 3-0, It goes down the middle for a called strike, 3-1. That's exactly what Tyler Nielsen needed. Trying to take advantage of that usual cardinal rule, an unwritten rule, if you may be specific with that. 3-1. This one goes down low for ball 4, and after that strike, Hinton Luther recognizing that play well, and so you have the bases loaded with 2 out. And that will bring up Derek Yallen. We'll see what happens here as Derek Yallen trying to contribute to his well after Evan Fox left this game due to an injury. First pitch upcoming to Derek Yallen. Throw. Goes inside. And it catches the corner for a called strike. 0-1. Just waiting for the camera angle to show us what's going on, and it did. Quickly Nielsen going 0-1, and Yallen fouls it behind him, is quickly behind 0-2. It's hard to have this inning end when you have the bases loaded. But for Stony Brook right now, you don't need to worry about it too much because you're up 11-3, and you have 4 more innings left to get through to maintain your lead and win this game to move on. The 0-2 hits Yallen. Wait, no, it almost did actually. From our angle, almost looked like it hit Yallen, but it was just going up high, getting way inside, and it's ball 1. And he hits this one out deep to left field. Gets past the shortstop for a base hit. Coming home is LaRocca. Followed by him, Tuccillo. 2 out. 2 RBI base hit. Derek Yallen, his first hit of this postseason. And Stony Brook now has a 10-run lead. They're up 13-3. Derek Yallen getting an excellent read on the throw by Tyler Nielsen. And that brings home John Tuccillo and John LaRocca. The Johnnies are getting themselves down. Just an unbelievable at-bat right there. And Maine is really desperately trying to get out of this inning. And they have not seen any clear path yet, despite 2 outs on the Seawolves. So Colt Durkin up to bat. The first pitch is down low. It's ball 1. Colt Durkin on the day, not successful, just 0-3. But I don't know how much more runs Stony Brook can continue to add to this. We don't even know if there's even going to be an actual mercy rule. There was a close chance of that happening the other day, as the 1-0 catches a breaking ball in the outside corner for a called strike, 1-1. Just last weekend, Stony Brook played against Binghamton. On Friday, they were up 15-3 late in the game. And usually you think that's a mercy rule. It's hard to see whether or not that usually happens. The 1-1 almost got the inside corner on the breaking ball. Terrain had to move down and just went down the dirt. Counts now 2-1. Wonder how many more pitchers it's going to take for Maine to try and do their best. Because you know that Sinicola is not going to be active because after he got his start on Thursday against the Seawolves. 2-1. Catches the outside corner on the fastball for a called strike, 2-2. 4 runs so far by Stony Brook in this bottom of the 5th. Can any more damage be done? Another base hit could potentially lead to a run. Tyler Nielsen getting set now at the mound. 2-2 throw. And this one is going to be popped up and flown out to right field. And it looks like it's going to be caught by the right fielder in Planty, and that will end the inning. But 4 more runs by Stony Brook, and they have a double-digit lead. They're up 13-3 now on the Maine Black Bears. We are through 5. Time to go to the 6th inning. We'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to this longtime home of Seawolves Athletics live on 9.1 FM WUSB Stony Brook. Zach Wilson on the call, giving you Stony Brook baseball action.
Honey, I think I deserve some kind of reward.
Here, have a pickle.
Thanks. After all, I did find us the perfect house.
Have another pickle.
Thank you.
But remember, then I found out how much our house was going to cost.
Yeah, but then I found us the perfect mortgage. Got any more of these?
Sure, help yourself. But then I found out our perfect house had radon. The stuff you can't see, smell, or taste. And it's radioactive. And it's the 2nd leading cause of lung cancer. Some dream house.
Yeah.
I need 2 pickles.
True. But then I found a phone number to call, 1-800-SOS-RADON, where you can get all the information you need to test and fix a home with a radon problem.
You did.
Yeah, and then I found out we were going to have a baby. So, your study, it'd be a perfect room for my mother.
Right. Now I need a phone number to fix a home with a mother-in-law problem.
Hey.
I'm in a pickle. Did you say baby?
Do we have any ice cream?
Protect your family from radon. Make your home safer. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. 1-800-SOS-RADON.
So back in the studios of WUSB, we now head to the top of the 6th inning at Joe Nathan Field. Getting a good feed on America East TV, but if you want to listen to us, we thank you very much for doing that. Stony Brook up 13-3. Maine having to use 4 different pitchers so far in this contest. Well, actually 3, I believe. Even so, because of Stony Brook's lead, that means one thing. Brian Herman's day is not done yet. This is his 6th inning to work here, as he has looked pretty good despite giving up those 3 runs in the top of the 2nd. Through 5 innings, he has gotten 7 strikeouts, allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs. The first pitch to the batter he faces, Ryan Terrain, is outside for ball 1. Ryan Terrain, he's 0-1 today. The 1-0 goes outside again, nearly caught the corner. Count now 2-0. Maine only has 4 innings to work with to try and get 10 runs at the very least, to try and keep their season alive. The 2-0 goes way inside, and it's 3-0. Terrain suddenly behind. No, it's Herman who is suddenly behind. Herman getting set now. The 3-0. This one goes down the middle for a called strike, 3-1. It's really fun to see how these cardinal rules apply. The unwritten rules were on a 3-0, you never swing it. But like I said, Pete Alonso broke that last year against Boston. Count 3-1, the throw from Herman, and this one is laced out to right field. Going Durkin, and he's just going to look this one is gone. Wait, no, it's a foul ball. Oh my goodness, that may have been pretty close to hitting the foul post, but luckily enough for Stony Brook, that is not a run, and the count is now full. Well, from our angle, we couldn't tell whether or not it hit. So the count's still full, and Brian Herman still has another chance. The 3-2, and this one is laced out to right field, and it's going to go foul. Ryan Terrain on back-to-back hits on the ball had some good looks from our angle, but in reality, they may not even been close enough. So once again, the full count. And this one is ball 4. So eventually Ryan Terrain does win the battle against Brian Herman. It's a leadoff walk for the Black Bears, and let's see if they can use that to get some momentum going. They're going to need a lot of momentum in these next few innings. Next up, Richie Williams, number 28, is in for Sean Layler after he hurt himself just a few innings ago. Herman getting set now, the first pitch. Williams showing bunt, he does get it there. And it goes over to Herman, gets the throw over to Hamilton for out number 1, and that brings Terrain over to second. And that's exactly what Richie Williams had in mind. Base hit with next batter who gets a base hit could probably bring home Terrain. Scout Knotts is up to bat now. He is 1 of 2 on the day. And his first at-bat did start the 3-run inning in the top of the 2nd for Maine. And let's see if he can start something here as well. He's in the same position he was in the top of the 2nd. It's going to take way more than 3 runs for the Black Bears to get back in this game as they are down by 10. First pitch to Knotts. Swings and misses hardly. Went too much oomph into that. He's thankful that he didn't hurt himself or popped his shoulder. Count 0-1. After Scout Knotts, Joe Bramante will be up. Knotts, the designated hitter today for Maine. From Herman, the 0-1. And this one goes in the dirt for ball 1. Still 7 strikeouts so far by Brian Herman. Despite some damage that he gave up a little while ago, that hasn't stopped him from doing good so far overall to keep to allow Stony Brook's offense to flourish. The 1-1, he'll throw. And inside way, almost had knots. Count now 2-1. So it'll be a big question now of whether or not there'll be any more of Brian Herman from here on out. Figure you'll see him maybe his last inning here. Count 2-1. And the throw. And check swing, he did go around. It was in the dirt, but luckily enough for Herman, Knotts tried to take a crack at that too, and the count is now 2-2. At 2-2. And this one is grounded along the third base line. It'll go to the left side for a foul. Unfortunate enough again that there was no play for Scout Knotts to try and get where he wanted it to. Who knows how much more it'll take. Count still 2-2 in the top of the sixth with a man on second and one out. Throw from Herman. Goes upstairs way high. It's a good thing for Tuchil, who was able to react and get that one before it went past him. But the count's now full. Scout Knotts being patient, trying to win the gap battle against Brian Herman. Full count pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three call. And Brian Herman wins that one for his 8th strikeout of the game, 2 away. Took a little while, and it almost looked like there was a chance for Scout Knotts to win the battle because he had some good reads on the balls from Brian Herman, but that time, that just wasn't the case. Brian Herman, one of the most experienced pitchers on the team for Stony Brook, one of the most experienced starting pitchers, of course. So Joe Bramonti is up to bat. He's 1 of 2 today. Flew out to right his last time up to Cole Durkin. Ran second 2 out, first pitch. This one is going to be popped up and going to be going over to the right side of the second base, and eventually that will be Brett Paulson making the catch, and that will retire the side. So, Spike giving up a walk. Cole Durkin with his work, and you get the L4 down as Stony Brook maintains their 13-3 lead. We now head to the bottom of the 6th at Joe Nathan Field. We'll be right back after these messages.
I really didn't feel safe anymore at home.
Every year, tens of thousands of youth experience homelessness.
The possibility of sleeping out on a park bench, it's not something that a 15-year-old should have to think about.
1-800-RUNAWAY provides 24-hour access to a nationwide network of housing and support services.
I felt such warmth, I felt comfort, I felt safe.
Call 1-800-RUNAWAY. Go to 1-800-RUNAWAY.org or text 66008. We can end youth homelessness.
IRG.org. Wondering why tuition has more than doubled since 1990? Angry at the lack of concern politicians have for youth issues? So are many students, but there is something we can do. Register to vote for November's election. We will be heard. And don't forget that if you are registered but have moved, you should re-register at your new address. For more information, contact NYPIRG at 632-6457. That's 632-6457 and online at nypirg.org. That's NYPIRG.org. Wondering why tuition is more than double?
We'll wonder about that later. So, as we now head to the bottom of the 6th at Joe Nathan Field, with Stony Brook maintaining their 10-run lead. They are up 13-3 against the Maine Black Bears here in Day 3 of the America East Baseball Tournament. The winner moves on to the championship round to face off against NJIT. Brad Hipsley will be the next batter up, and he faces the first pitch on a called strike, 0-1. Tyler Nielsen is still out there for Maine. He's going quickly, the 0-1. This one goes in the outside corner for another called strike. Working quickly, and has worked to his advantage so far, getting back-to-back strikes on Hipsley. Hipsley, 0-1 today. The other 2 at-bats he's faced has been walks. The 0-2, this one way outside terrain, had to adjust big time to his left. Count now 1-2. We'll see whether or not Nielsen decides to stop going too quick here. Doesn't look that way. 1-2. This one is grounded over to second, picked up by McDaniel. Gets the throw over to Bramonti in time for out number 1. Go down as a 4-3. know you want to go quick here, but you're still down by 10, and it's going to take you 3 innings to try and get at least 3 runs each. More than 3 runs, believe it or not. Even if you do get 9 runs, you'll still be down by 1. And the first pitch to Brett Paulson, he was showing bunt. It went down the middle as he missed it for a called strike, 0-1. Brett Paulson, he's been great on the day, 2-2, despite 3 at-bats, this being his 4th. And the 0-1 goes upstairs for a 1-1. Tyler Nielsen just wants to get out of this very quickly. The 1-1 going outside on a breaking ball just went out to Rain's hand, but there was no base runners at all to worry about. Count now 2-1. His last at-bat for Paulson, he walked, and that allowed his teammates to help him get home. In the 2-1, he goes opposite, foul, along the first base line. Count 2-2. Want to go quickly? That's fine. That'll just make the next game happen sooner. 2-2. He grounds this one along the third base that goes through the hole for a base hit. No chance for Goodman or Marquez to get one on that. An infield base hit for Brett Paulson. And he's had a very excellent day. Do you really expect that from somebody who's at the bottom of the batting order? Like I said this repeatedly, I've seen Brett Paulson play all season long as somebody who deserves to be at the heart of the batting order rather than at the bottom. As we return to the top of the batting order now, John LaRocca, first pitch upstairs to him, ball 1. And John LaRocca, this is his 5th at-bat of this game. He is 2 of 3. And I know this is his 5th, and his last at-bat he did draw a walk. And the 1-0 goes down Broadway, counts now 1-1. Stony Brook putting out all the moves they needed today with their hits, and it's really starting to flourish today after it didn't really do too much throughout the first few games. 14 hits so far, and the 1-1 is fouled along the first base line for 1-2. 13 runs, 14 hits for Stony Brook today. If we really want, and they really needed a game like this, because every game for them is single elimination, especially their opponents, except for the next game, should they move on and go to the championship round against NJIT, facing off against a Highlanders team that did give Stony Brook trouble throughout this season. When Stony Brook was the complete home team just a few weekends ago, they did split the series with NJIT, but now they need to sweep the next 2 against them today and hopefully tomorrow, weather permitting. Counts 1-1 on LaRocca, and he opposites this one along the third base line. This will go foul. Count remains at 1-2. John LaRocca has been more used to batting second this year, Evan Giordano going first, and it looks like Nielsen started to take things a little slow. He does go for the 1-2, and this one is laced out deep to right center field. Through the hole, the center fielder under it, jumping to make the catch. That was Reynes for out number 2. LaRocca got a good swing on that. That looked pretty nifty to me. But it was good enough for Jake Reynes to go in there and make that catch to stall Stony Brook momentum. Stony Brook getting 3 innings in the 4th, 4 in the 5th. In the first pitch to Giordano, he'll lace this one over the shortstop. Gets to throw quickly over the second from Marquez to McDaniel, a 6-4. That will end the inning. So despite allowing a hit to Brett Paulson, no damage done, 1 hit, no runs. We're through 6. Stony Brook still up 13-3. We'll be right back as we will eventually get our way back to the top of the 7th inning.
Hello, this is Spencer Davis. We're both part of a generation that will inherit the Earth, and as we all know, the Earth is in trouble. We all have a responsibility to do something for our beliefs. If you're 18 or over, you have the right to vote. This is perhaps the only meaningful tool at our disposal right now. I don't have to tell you who to vote for, or what needs to be done. Don't waste your vote or your planet. Use your right to vote for a positive, meaningful purpose. Please vote, irregardless of what the polls say.
And welcome back to the longtime home for Seawolves Athletics on 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook. It is 3:05 right now on the East Coast, and despite some cloud and some rain, things look sunny for Stony Brook as they are maintaining their 10-run lead right into the 7th inning, and Brian Herman continuing to stay where he is today. Has given up 3 runs in the top of the second, but other than that, strong as can be with 7 strikeouts on the day. Maine down by 10, just 3 innings away from their season being over. The last team to make the America East playoffs after they needed what they got, which was a couple of wins against New Albany in the final weekend of regular season play and some help from around the America East. Can't tell whether or not that includes Stony Brook. So Jake Marquez up to bat against Herman, and the first pitch is a breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1. Not too much luck after Knotts, Bramante, and Marquez were responsible for getting home. The 1-0 from Herman, and almost checked swing it, but it did catch the inside corner on another breaking ball. It's another strike, count now 0-2. Jake Marquez is 1 for 2 on the day. Faces the 0-2 pitch from Herman, and he grounds this one over to Herman. He makes the catch before he nearly lost the chance for it, but he's able to get over to Hamilton for out number 1. And he is smiling big, and really, that was just a real close call. He almost got out of the way of the ball and able to just extend it with his glove. Just an incredible reaction that he was able to make, and that is what keeps Maine from getting a base runner here in the top of the 7th. So now you get Jake Reynes up to bat. First pitch, a deep breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1. Goes way deep. Colin Plante up on deck after Reynes. The 0-1 goes down low on the outside for ball 1. But Brian Herman has had some pretty fun looks today. You know that he's given up a trio of runs, but the Stony Brook offense has given him the chance to get his 4th win of the year. The 1-1 now, and he grounds this one over to shortstop. Luthner can't get through it, gets passed by him for a base hit. It's actually Brett Paulson who is shifting around a little bit after the infield made a shift, but may not have been exactly what they wanted. Of course, it did go right near the left side of the second base bag, but Reynes will move to first to get the 1-out single for the Black Bears. And that'll bring up the bottom of the batting order, Colin Plante up to bat. Plante, who is 1 of 2 today, got a base hit his last time up, but didn't get anywhere after that. Maine needs to find a way to answer, because time is running out on them. Of course, you don't really see time because there's no clock, as this first pitch is going to be popped up and flown out to left field, where it looks like under it is Derek Yallen. He'll make the catch for out number 2. Takes just 1 pitch for Derek Yallen to spot that one well. Usually we see Evan Fox there, but he's not playing right now due to an injury. If you're Stony Brook, you better hope that's not something that's going to be too impactful. I mean, you'll have to see whether or not it'll impact him to play in the next game after this. So, now we head back to the top of the batting order for Maine. Quinn McDaniel up to bat, who has had a bad day so far. Not good day so far. He is 0 of 3. First pitch inside nearly nicks him, ball 1. After Quinn McDaniel, Connor Goodman will be up to bat. McDaniel grounded into a double play his last time out to second. And you know, he blasts this one out. This one to left field. Is it no man's land? Nope. Yallen's right under there again. And he'll make the catch for another out, and that will retire the side. So, 1 hit, but no runs. Stony Brook successful defensively once again. That gets us quickly through this half inning, as we will now head to the bottom of the 7th through a 7th inning stretch. Don't go anywhere. I mean, I'm sure you want to go anywhere because you think Stony Brook is over, but if you want to listen in on hearing how this game ends up, continue to listen here on 90.1 FM WUSB Stony Brook, as we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, little girl, beware of Satanists. They'll try to kidnap you and maybe even kill you.
You're obviously misinformed. Why teach the child slanderous myths?
Satanists perform rituals with lots of blood and animal sacrifices, too.
That's simply not true. We don't perform any rituals involving animals unless you count fishing, which we don't. Back to the water for you, Mr. Gills.
Satanists will ask you for all your money.
And you won't?
They want to enslave decent people. We must destroy them and their kind.
Now that's religious persecution, and that's against the law. So long, hate monger. Remember, little girl, everyone's entitled to their beliefs.
Well, religion, you can't beat it. But let's stick with sports, shall we? Bottom of the 7th we go here. Joe Nathan Field is where the site of the 2021 America East Baseball Tournament is for the first time since 2012. If you're a Stony Brook baseball fan, I'm sure you have great memories of what happened that year when Stony Brook shocked the nation, defeating LSU in the Super Regional, getting through the Coral Gables Regional. They made it to the College World Series for the first time in school history, and now they have a chance, and let's see if they try and make that run again this year. To get back for Stony Brook, Chris Hamilton up to bat, the first pitch, check swing, called strike, 0-1. Stony Brook up 13-3, just 2 half innings away from winning this game. And moving on to the America East to make on the championship round against NJIT. And they really want that revenge. And it goes outside. Count now 1-2 after the last pitch was, of course, another swing and a miss. For Chris Hamilton on the day, he's 1 of 4, got a double in his second at bat. And he grounds this one over to second, picked up cleanly by McDaniel, gets the throw over to Bramanti in time for out number 1. Another 4-3 for the Black Bears today. Ready up to the 5 spot for Stony Brook batters in at-bats. Really shows you just how big their hits have been today and how they've been able to capitalize on it. Get fit. If I'm not mistaken, it's still 14 runs for Stony Brook. And it's really given them the big juice that they need. 14 hits, 13 runs. The count's 1-0 now. From Nielsen, Tuccillo swings and misses, strike 1. John Tuccillo, he is 3 of 4 today, and he's also been just as superb as Brett Paulson, one of the best batters on the day for Stony Brook. Just wait and see what happens when the America East All-Championship team is announced and the most outstanding player given to the one who has looked best in giving his team a championship run. And the 1-1 goes outside the outside corner, and it's ball 2. Outside the outside corner. It's a little self-explanatory, I guess you could say, outside the corner. And the 2-1 goes upstairs for ball 3. John Tuccillo at righty, facing off against Nielsen, who's a lefty. Connor Nielsen working in the last few innings. 3-1, outside, ball 4. John Tuccillo goes for the walk. So he'll get the first base run here in the bottom of the 7th. You know, I think this is a time where if you're still not certain about whether or not you want to keep the runs piling on. You're about to be in a position where you're going to win and move on to the championship round of the America East Tournament. But for Stony Brook, they need to sweep NJIT should they advance here after today against Maine. In the first pitch to Stanton Luthner, he hits this one opposite along the first base line. It's a foul ball. Count 0-1. Stanton Luthner, he is 2 of 3 today. This is his 5th at-bat. His last at-bat, he walked and made it as far as second. The 0-1 goes outside. Adjustment made by Terrain. Count now 1-1. Stanton Luthner at the shortstop. Think about his name. About his first name is the same as Giancarlo Stanton's last name. Gets 2 Stantons for both New York squads. The 1-1. This one is grounded over to second base. Picked up by McDaniel. Guys to get the throw over the first in time for the double play. And that quickly ends the inning. Here, Stanton Luthner got through a hole, but Maine keeps him at bay. No runs, no hits. We now get through 7. We now head to the 8th inning. Stony Brook up 13-3 against Maine. You're listening to the longtime home for Seawolves Athletics, live on 90.1 FM, WUSB, Stony Brook.
The average parent thinks they're prepared for a medical emergency. They know if their child has allergies, or how to call 911. But the average parent doesn't know how to treat severe burns, or what to do when a child isn't breathing. Maybe you should ask yourself, do I want to be an average parent? You can't always prevent emergencies, but you can be better prepared. So talk to your healthcare provider or call 1-888-ASK-HRSA. This message is a public service of WUSB and Emergency Medical Services for Children.
So, as we return waiting for the start of the 8th inning at Joe Nathan Field. I was thinking the other day about how in 2012 in the America East Baseball Tournament, I was wondering whether or not Stony Brook did lose the first game, but then moved on to the rest to win the America East title. I'm actually mistaken that for their Coral Gables regional, when they lost the first game, but then swept through the rest to take it from Miami, who was the one that was leading that regional in the NCAA tournament. And as I look at Matt Sank, his 31st season as head coach for Stony Brook, probably the best coach in Seawolves history, garnering multiple Coach of the Year awards for his fantastic run to the College World Series in Omaha back in 2012. Stony Brook taking 2 of 3 taking 2 wins from LSU in the 3 games in that Super Regional down in Baton Rouge. Stony Brook's last NCAA tournament appearance, they returned there, but got swept hard by LSU and Arizona State. So Brian Herman still out there for an 8th inning. We'll wonder whether or not he'll go for a complete game. He'll face off against Connor Goodman to begin this top of the 8th, and the first pitch, fastball in the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. For Connor Goodman today, he is 0 of 2. His second at bat, he was hit by a pitch. The 0-1, he fouls this one behind the fence. Almost had a chance to hit a press box probably, but that fence didn't hit them, nor would have hit us because we are not at Joe Nathan Field. We are, of course, at the studios of WUSB. The 0-2 from Herman, swing and a miss, strike 3 called. 8 strikeouts now for Brian Herman, 1 out. And Brian Herman, after giving up 3 runs in the top of the second, has been superb after that, not allowing a single run to any Black Bear player afterwards. It did seem like things were getting a little rough, but ever since then, he seems to have found his stride. And should Stony Brook continue to move on, afterwards we may be still staying here. Next batter up, Ryan Turin. First pitch on the outside corner for ball 1. We can't really guarantee that the bleachers is going to be all right, if anything, so we'll see what it can do. The 1-0, breaking ball, went up high for ball 2. Can't guarantee the bleachers will be okay, so we're going to have to probably do the second game of today from in here, but we will still have a good camera if necessary. Camera so far so good as opposed to the beginning of this game. 2-0, goes outside in the corner for called strike, 2-1. Almost looked like a throw from Herman that may have gone a little outside that could have led to a ball, but gives him the benefit of the doubt right there. Nobody at third base, anticipating where Terrain would go as he draws a ball. Count now 3-1 as they went on the outside in the curveball. Only 2 half innings left for Maine to try and get back in and win this game. There's no chance of that as the 3-1 goes upstairs for ball 4, and Ryan Terrain may try to start working on something as he draws a 5-pitch walk. We can't imagine yet, you know who, Brian Herman, leaving this game yet. You're up by 10 and you don't seem to have gotten yourself into a position where you may start to decline. Well, if anything, if this is the end of Brian Herman's collegiate career, the fact that he can get his 4th win of the year may be what he needs right here. In the first pitch over to Richie Williams, he fouls this one out deep along the first base line. Count now 0-1. For Richie Williams, ever since he came in, he has struck out and grounded out to the pitcher. Herman now sets at the mound. The 0-1. And this one is also fouled again along the first base line, but this one a little less air. Count 0-2. Brian Herman with one of his most successful performances of this season. Looking to be as strong as he can. We did talk before about how it's hard to see whether or not why Brian Herman would be in before Sam Turcotte, but now that he settled himself in, you may start to understand it. This is indeed his longest outing of the season. His previous longest was back on April 3rd against Hartford. He's now facing Williams on the 0-2. Gets set between the righty, the throw. This one's grounded over to Paulson, gets by him for a base hit. And so another base runner by Maine to try and keep hope alive of their season surviving. They have a man on first and second with one out. And that's exactly what Richie Williams needed. Not as much of a run for Ryan Terrain as he wanted it to, because there was almost a chance for Brett Paulson to try and get there, but the ball was just a little out of his way. And so Maine will have a runner in scoring position, and that runner in scoring position is Terrain. And we'll see what Scout Knotts here can do. Scout Knotts might be in a good position. In the first pitch, he fouls this one along the third base line, count 0-1. Well, from Scout Knotts in the way that he has performed this season, you would imagine that this could be a spot for him where he would try and start working on a little run. But even so, there's still too much work to be done. So 0-1 now. From Herman the Knotts, the throw. He fouls this one behind him, and it's quickly behind 0-2. Well, Richie Williams was behind 0-2 in the last at-bat. But what happened after that? Well, I think what happened after that was him being able to get the base hit. But let's see if Herman can try and get his 9th strikeout here. He prepares for the 0-2 now against Knotts. The throw and the foul. Just caught a whiff of the bat, changing the direction of the balls and went behind him. Knotts once again trying to get him to inform him how he wants to hit the ball should he be able to make the contact with it that he wants. Joe Bramante up on deck after him. Knotts is 1 of 3 today, struck out his last 2 times against Herman, trying to avoid a third straight time. The 0-2, this one just goes upstairs for ball 1, so Knotts able to stay at the plate a little while longer. But you figured that when you're struck out the last 2 times by a pitcher that you're still facing right now, you need to figure out what you're doing wrong. You gotta learn from your mistakes. The 1-2, and he fouls this one along the third base line. Count still stays at 1-2. So a good job so far by Scout Knotts being able to recognize Herman's pitches. Faced him long enough, you'll see where it goes. Of course, you have a chance to see what they've done all season long. Of course, you have to focus on your own opponents too. And of course, you're facing another pitcher again. I mean, this is the first time this year that Herman has faced the Black Bears. And the first time that Maine has faced him. And the 1-2, this one's going to be popped up in the air, over to second. Hamilton having to adjust, and he will make the catch for out number 2. That's a good little adjustment as Brian Herman able to win that battle. Scott Knotts has not yet been able to learn his lesson. So we'll go down to P3. With 2 out and 2 on, you get Joe Bramante up to bat. Bramante, he's 1 of 3 today. After his only hit was in the top of the second, he was one of those 3 Black Bears that got the runs. Bramante on that double that brought home Knotts. First pitch, as he grounds this one over to Giordano, gets there cleanly, lost the possession of the ball, and that is unfortunate for him. He could not get it cleanly. If he did, that could have been there, although where the placement of the ball was, could have been hard of a throw. I don't know if Giordano would have gotten the third. So, it'll go down as an E5, allowing all runners to move to their respective at-bats. And it looked like from our point of view, Giordano was able to pick up the ball cleanly. He could have gotten there just before Terrain did, but that's unfortunately not the case. Bases are now loaded off of the E5 with 2 out. So we'll see if Jake Marquez, the cleanup hitter, can do anything. He's 1 of 3 today too. In the first pitch, foul. Count 0-1 now. See if Marquez has anything to do here. It'll be devastating for Maine to leave the bases loaded, because that means their season is just more closer, as the 0-1 nearly nicked Marquez, but lucky enough for Herman it did not. Count now 1-1. Herman needs to focus here. Of course, Maine is up by 10. It's down by 10, but any wrong move would put Maine back in this game. The 1-1. This one is going to be fouled behind Marquez, and it'll go now 1-2. Well, Herman has been able to deal with throwing a lot of foul balls in this game. We'll see whether, well, of course, from here on this at bat, no more foul balls, just strikes, clean strikes. It's 1-2 now on Marquez. The throw from Herman. This one's grounded over the middle to Paulson. He picks it up, loses the possession. He can't clean it up either. Another error is an unearned run, and Maine gets their first run since the top of the second. Another unfortunate mistake on the infield by Stony Brook. Giordano couldn't pick it up cleanly, and neither could Brett Paulson. Paulson was able to pick up the ball, and he was very close to getting it over to Leutner at second base. But Maine once again cashes in on an error, and this will be an E4. Just getting a lot more brutal, and it's not Brian Herman's fault, believe it or not. And so he'll now face off against Jake Reynes. The first pitch is a ball. And it's like I said, one wrong move by anybody on Stony Brook's defense could put Maine back in this game, and you really want to get out of here soon enough. Maintain the lead that you have. It's down to 9, but you're 4 outs away from winning. The 1-0 catches the outside corner for a called strike. I don't think Reynes is happy about that, but it's not showing his face. He's just determined to try and get the hit off of Brian Herman if he can. I have to imagine Sam Turcotte would be the next pitcher should Stony Brook win and play against NGIT later today. The 1-1 from Herman, and he grounds this one along the right, and it's going to be fouled. It took some air. Again, counts 1-2. I mean, again, 1-2, because Marquez was faced with that before he got to first on an error. So he broke up 13-4 here in the top of the 8th, with the bases loaded and 2 out. Herman facing Reynes on a 1-2. The throw, the check swing didn't go around completely, it just went out. Count now 2-2. And almost nearly close to Reynes swinging that, but he was able to keep himself from going like a few inches. 2-2 from Herman now. Here's the throw. And he gets this one over to Leutner, and he picks this one up cleanly. He'll get the throw over to Hamilton, and he lost the possession of the ball. That's going to be safe. Another error, and that's going to bring home Joe Bramante for another unearned run. Stony Brook is having a real big problem trying to get out of this inning, and they just continue to not get where they want. I mean, for Leutner, it didn't look like he was going to have a chance to go to second. He had to throw over to Hamilton instead, and Hamilton just couldn't get a good read on that one. May have been a throwing error off of Stanton Leutner. That's an E6. 3 straight errors from Stony Brook. Disastrous, even though they have not relinquished a big lead yet. They have given up back-to-back runs. And so that was actually 2 runs, believe it or not. So now the lead is cut to 7. Brian Herman just needs 1 out to get out of here. Trouble may be brewing for Stony Brook if Herman can't work it. First pitch, this one's going to fall off the left corner for a base hit. That's going to bring in 1 run. It's getting close to the wall. Plante moving closely over to second. He's rounding over to third. That's definitely going to bring home Marquez. An RBI triple. And 2 RBI triple, and Maine suddenly back in this game. They have cut the deficit to 5. They have cut in half. But Maine really finding the answer that they need, capitalizing on those 3 straight errors, and that's giving them all the momentum that they need to get back into this game. Nothing more bigger for the Black Bears to save their season than that. And so it looks like Matt Senk is going to have to pull out Brian Herman because of that. So Herman's day will end with 8 runs given up. Stony Brook still up by 5, but the pitching changes. Stony Brook just needs 1 out to get out of trouble against Maine that is working on a big-time comeback now. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back for the next relief pitcher for Stony Brook.
Tinnitus is that terrible ringing in the ears that often follows exposure to loud noise. You might have noticed this after a concert or rave where you were a performer or a listener. The show's over, but there's still that obnoxious ringing in your ears. For some people, the problem is only temporary. It's frustrating, but has no lasting effect. There can be more significant problems, however. It can become permanent, and that's serious business. To find out what you need to know to prevent hearing damage and enjoy the music, contact HEAR at www.hearnet.com or call the Hear hotline at 415-773-9590.
All the calls, everything. So, at Joe Nathan Field, this game has really started to change up big time. Maine is suddenly back in this ball game. They were down 13-3 in the top of the 8th with 2 out, but 3 straight errors and a 2-out, 2 RBI triple has suddenly made this a brand new ball game. They only trailed by 5, with a chance to try and tie the game close enough, but Stony Brook will have to rely on a new relief pitcher now. Ben Farrell will be up to bat. Stony Brook hasn't really used their relief pitchers at all in this tournament. This is just the first time that they have. Started off with using Nick DeGennaro all the way, and you started off with using Jared Milch, who had a complete game against UAlbany yesterday, and still this is the first time you're actually going to your bullpen. And we'll see whether or not Ben Farrell can just get this cleanup out here in order to try and help Stony Brook get out of this game and maintain the lead that they still do. Quinn McDaniel, you're facing the top of the batting order. The first pitch, breaking ball, goes down low for ball 1. But really, those errors is really something you do not want if you're Stony Brook. If one of those errors was just even cleaned enough, the 1-0 goes down low for ball 2. I wasn't really sure whether or not we were expecting Ben Farrell to get there. Hasn't really seen too much playing action today. The last time he pitched was against Binghamton back on the 22nd. The 2-0, this one goes up high for ball 3. From our angle, it's hard to tell whether or not that went down the middle. This is just the 6th appearance for Ben Farrell this year. Trying to get in a little relief. 3-0. This one goes down low for ball 4, and Quinn McDaniel draws a 4-pitch walk. So Maine's starting to get a little more damage done here, as they only trail by 5. They got a man on first and third with 2 outs. So now Connor Goodman will be up to bat. Have to see whether or not the best type of relief pitchers you want coming in at this point, if you're Stony Brook. Connor Goodman, who was 0 for 3 today, struck out his last time up. First pitch, down the middle for a called strike, 0-1. Ben Farrell finally gets his first strike in his relief appearance. Could have been other players that would have been relied on. Kyle Johnson, Adam Erickson. Of course, Kyle Johnson was already used against Maine on Thursday. 0-1 is down low in the breaking ball for ball 1. It's Kirby. Still Andrew Ledbetter. Still get Brian Morrissey or Mark Aldi or Devin Sharkey. The 1-1, this one is fouled. The count's now 1-2. Out of the reach for Hamilton or Tuchillo to try and get a crack at that, but just 1 strike left for Ben Farrell to try and clean up the damage that Herman left. Stony Brook still has a decent lead, but you want to be careful if Maine tries to do any funny business. They already have done so in the top of the 8th. They're trying to stall it. The 1-2, this one is grounded, don't close to second. It's going to go through to Luthner. He has to take the throw over to first, and it's not in time. Hamilton had to leave the bat to get it up, and so Maine capitalizes on an infield hit. And they get another run, and they cut the deficit to 4. Nothing clean at all for Stony Brook. It was a good pickup by Paulson, but he threw it where Hamilton had to move outside of the bag, and that was just not pretty. Stony Brook does not want to have this meltdown right here because things are really starting to get down hard. It's 13-9 now, Stony Brook. 6 straight runs by the Black Bears here in the top of the 8th. Let's get Ryan Terrain back up to bat. Began things with a walk in this inning. Let's see if Farrell can clean that up. First pitch, down low for ball 1. Ben Farrell gives up another base runner here, and Matt Sank may have to resort to his bullpen again. You need to find the right bullpen players that can get you out as bullpen pitchers. Can't tell whether or not the weather is affecting the errors and the plays that has not allowed Stony Brook to try and get out of this inning yet. The 1-0. This one is grounded, and it's actually going to be going behind the catcher, so it'll be foul. Count 1-1. Stony Brook trying to get trying to chase that elusive third out. It has escaped their grasp at least 3 times here in the top of the 8th. And they can't afford any more damage to give Maine a chance. Farrell gets set now for the 1-1. He gets the throw. This one is a breaking ball, and it catches down the middle for a called strike 1-2. Big pitch coming up here now for Ben Farrell to try and get out to Rain and maintain Stony Brook's lead. They are still up by 4, but Maine is trying to mount a comeback. The right pitcher in the top of the 9th should have come down to that. And we have a quick time called. Ryan Terrain was calling for it. For McDaniel at second, Connor Goodman at first. Terrain gets himself set up now. On the 1-2, the throw, swing and a miss, strike 3 called, and that will end it. But some damage done, and the top of the 8th, of course, but some damage done by Maine. 6 straight runs in the top of the 8th. Luckily enough, Stony Brook still has their lead, and they'll be up by at least 4 as we now head to the bottom of the 8th. Stony Brook just one more half inning away from advancing to the championship round. We'll be right back after these messages.
Mitch Savino is a Jets fan.
Go Jets!
A really big Jets fan. In a stadium surrounded by 80,000 other screaming Jets fans, no one would know that just 2 years ago, Mitch was admitted to Stony Brook University Hospital for open heart surgery. Stony Brook has cardiac experience that no other hospital can match. We developed medical breakthroughs like RioPro, a blood thinner that revolutionized angioplasty, and the use of microwave catheter technology to treat arrhythmia. Our surgical outcomes are among the best in the state, and our follow-up care is administered by some of the most highly trained nurses in the world, all of which helps patients get back to their normal lives faster.
An interception? Are you kidding me?
Of course, normal is a relative term. To learn more about the services at Stony Brook and how we're investing $300 million over the next 3 years to enhance them, call 631-444-4393 or visit StonyBrookHospital.com. Stony Brook University Hospital. Smart medicine. Expert care.
Back in the studios of WUSB. We're bottom of the 8th now at Joe Nathan Field. Maine has made this a whole new ball game. After being down 13-3, they're only down 13-9, and they use a new bullpen pitcher, Andrew Ruggiero, to try and get some more cleanup work down for the Black Bears to keep the comeback going. But Stony Brook is still up by 4, and it'll be at least that. They're going to probably look to try and get some insurance runs here and get their hits back up to serious business. What's unfortunate is that Seawolves faced 3 errors against the Black Bears back in that top of the 8th, and if just one of them was picked up, then the lead wouldn't be where it is right now. The first pitch from Derek Yallen going in the left corner for a base hit. So the first pitch by Derek Yallen to begin the bottom of the 8th is probably what Stony Brook will need to keep the momentum on their side, despite a little comeback attempt by the Black Bears. Yallen beginning things off with a leadoff hit. Derek Yallen coming in after Evan Fox left the game early due to injury. And Yallen's been settling himself in pretty well. The second straight at bat where Yallen has been able to lift one out for going to first. And so you get the next batter up, and Cole Durkin, the first pitch to him, he fouls it away along the first base line for an 0-1. Maine still has some toughness on their side. This is why they were able to sneak their way into that last spot in the America East tournament. But they are still down, and they're going to need their hitting to step up big. They're going to be having the meat. As pickoff attempt at first does not get Yallen. Yallen remains at first with nobody out. Andrew Ruggiero still at the mound. See what more damage he'll try and do. He has a 5.74 ERA coming into this contest. Tries to pick off Yallen again at first, but just too slow. For Ruggiero, this is his 7th appearance of the season. He has had 1 save opportunity. He has pitched through 15 2/3 of an inning so far. The 0-1 to Durkin. And it hits Durkin all along his hip. And so Durkin will make his move over the first, while Yallen will make it over the second. And this is probably what Stony Brook needs to get close to getting some insurance runs to fend off Maine's comeback attempt. So letting Maine make their own mistakes. Pretty much the same way Stony Brook had their mistakes in the top of the 8th. Yallen was showing bunt Cole Durkin was showing a bunt, but then he just got hit along his right hip, and he just angrily threw the bat away. Of course, you can't blame him. Nobody likes to be hit. So man on first and second with nobody out, Brad Hipsley is up to bat. Facing off against the righty. Hipsley showing bunt. First pitch, he bunts it cleanly over to the pitcher, and it's going to force Ruggiero to throw it over to first. So Hipsley out, but does the squeeze bunt successfully to bring Yallen to third and Durkin over to second. Another ground out could possibly lead to a Stony Brook run. That's what Stony Brook needs to get one step closer to an insurance run, or should I say 90 feet closer, since the 14th run is 90 feet away. We now head to the bottom of the batting order. Brett Paulson, the exceptional player today for Stony Brook, 3 of 3. First pitch, he lets it go on the outside for ball 1. Brett Paulson having one of the best days any batter in the bottom of the batting order can have. You're 3 of 3, and 2 of the 3 times you were at base, you came home. And the other time he came home, the third time, was when he drew a walk. The 1-0 to Paulson. He gets this one over to center field. This one's going to be going into the turf for a base hit. It was no man's land. Yallen moves over to home. Durkin remains at third. And it's an RBI single for the Seawolves, and exactly the type of insurance run that they needed. It's now 14-9 Seawolves. I think that the center fielder, Reynes, was confused. I think he may have thought that either Marquez or McDaniel was going to pick that up, but unfortunate for him that he didn't going to get there, and so Brett Paulson may end up finishing today's game with a perfect 4 for 4. And so we now get back to the top of the batting order for the 6th time. John LaRocca takes a called strike, 0-1, first pitch. But really, that's probably another mistake for Maine here in the bottom of the 8th. The first one was Ruggiero allowing Durkin to get the first on the hit by pitch, and now he's already at third. Man on first and third with 1 out. John LaRocca swings and misses on the 0-1. It's now 0-2. For John LaRocca, he is 2 of 4 today. Has gotten 2 base hits, made around one of them on an error by the right fielder. Flew out to center his last time up. Gets ready now for the 0-2 from Ruggiero. This one going way up high, and Touraine really had to try and catch that one to keep Durkin from getting home. Count now 1-2. So after this game, the winner will take on NJIT in the championship round of the American East Baseball Tournament. For the winner of this game right now, they have to win the next 2 to win the bid. The 1-2 gets outside for ball 2. Should either Stony Brook or Maine win and face off against NJIT, they need to win later today and tomorrow to take the bid from NJIT. For NJIT, they only just need 1 win. John Rocket gets set now for the 1-2 from Ruggiero, and he swings and misses, and it didn't hit his bat, so that's a strikeout for Ruggiero, 2 away. Well, Ruggiero allowing 1 run so far, but able to get a little cleanup work by forcing a ground out on Hipsley and getting the strikeout on LaRocca. So now Evan Giordano will be up to bat. He grounded out to shortstop his last time up. Need a base hit to get a run. First pitch, he just takes it down the middle for a called strike, 0-1. For Evan Giordano, he only has 1 appearance at first today, and that was off of a base hit where he eventually came home to bring in the Seawolves' 6th run of the game. 6th and last run of that bottom of the 2nd inning. Ruggiero gets set now for the 0-1. The throw going way outside, and the throw over to second, trying to get a steal. It doesn't get there. Paulson, and that is allowing Durkin to take the steal over to home. And just forcing Touraine to have to go for that one. Not a clean pickup by McDaniel. Stony Brook capitalizes on a run off a stolen base. Durkin moving over to home, and now they're up 15-9. And these insurance runs is exactly what they need. Brett Paulson starting the fray by being able to allow Durkin what he needed. Luckily enough, Brett Paulson was able to make it home because McDaniel didn't have a clean look on it. This is exactly the errors that has made this a high-scoring game with 24 combined runs. It counts now 2-1 on Giordano. On that stolen base attempt, it was a ball, and this last pitch was a ball too. So, 2-1 now to Giordano with a man on second as he fouls this one over to the right field. That's going to be foul. Count 2-2. As Paulson will move back from third to second. 3:45 right now on the East Coast. It's 15-9 Stony Brook. They're up by 6. Just a half an inning away from eliminating Maine from the American East Baseball Tournament and making it down to 2 between them and NGIT. 2-2 goes up high for ball 3. Count now full on Giordano. Paulson almost talking about trying to make a steal. Of course, a base hit doesn't need to worry about that. If that happens, he would just go easily to home. If that's the case, it gets enough of an error. Giordano not having himself the day that he wanted. He does have a hit so far, looking for more than that. Full count, goes outside for ball 4. And so Giordano will move over to first, gets his second base run of this contest. Now you have a man on first and second with 2 out. So after things were looking pretty good enough for Andrew Ruggiero to eventually get out of this inning, doesn't look that way yet. As now he'll have to face off against Chris Hamilton. Hamilton, who was 1 for 5 today, is making his 6th at-bat in this contest. He grounded out to second his last time up. Ruggiero gets set now, the first pitch. And he blasts this one out to the left corner. And will be a turf. No, left fielder is under it. That is Williams to make the catch. And that will retire the side. But a couple of runs insurance-wise by Stony Brook to retake a 6-run lead. And that will bring us to the top of the 9th inning, where the Seawolves are just 3 outs away from ending the Maine Black Bears season. We'll be right back after these messages.
Is Daddy coming today?
No, honey.
When Michael's father left 2 years ago, he intended to keep seeing his son. But things happened.
Will he come today?
No, honey.
Michael will be twice as likely to drop out of high school, twice as likely to use a knife or gun in a fight. You may think if you don't see your children, your influence on them is over, but you influence them in ways you may not think of. In fact, a child without a father is 63% more likely to run away, 37% more likely to abuse drugs, twice as likely to end up in jail.
Will he come today?
And 30% more likely to attempt suicide. It's hard to stay close to your kids when you don't live with them, but you can do it. Give them a better chance. Give them the emotional and financial support they need. They're your kids. Be their dad. A public service message brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services, the Ad Council, and this station.
All right, so we're now back at Joe Nathan Field for one more half inning of play between the Stony Brook Seawolves and the UALP and the Maine Black Bears. Just 3 outs Stony Brook is from eliminating Maine and moving on to the championship round against the NGIT Highlanders. Stony Brook looking to try and get a better look here in the postseason than they did in the regular season, as Ben Farrell remains at the mound for the Seawolves, trying to clean up this game as he will face off against Richie Williams. Williams, who had a base hit his last time up and got all the way to home on the 3 errors. And the first pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Well, it was a bit of a disaster for the top of the 8th for Stony Brook, but not too much, as they were able to get a couple of runs in a row in the bottom of the 8th. And the 0-1, a breaking ball, catches the outside corner for a called strike, 0-2. Richie Williams, followed by Scout Knotts and Joe Bramonti, represents the heart of the batting order for the Black Bears. The 0-2 goes down looking. Richie Williams is struck out. We're through 1. 1 out, 2 to go. And Barrett Farrell able to get his second strikeout in his relief appearance. He'll now draw up Scout Knotts, who was 1 for 4 today after he got a double in his first at-bat. That started the carousel of 3 runs for the Black Bears in the top of the 2nd. The first pitch to Farrell. He took a good swing on that. It was a ball. The 1-0, and this one is chopped, and it's going to be going along the right field line, and almost a chance for Durkin to pick that one up. But it is a foul ball, so count is now 1-1. And there was nearly a chance right there for Cole Durkin to try and catch it. It almost just went across the fence right to where the fans are. We'll see what they do here as the 1-1. Once again, it's fouled, and this one popped up and will be out of play. So count now 1-2. Scout Knotts in playing today as a designated hitter for the Black Bears. Trying to keep them in for as long as possible. Now the 1-2 from Farrell. It's down low, and not this one. This one's not going down the middle this time. It's ball 2. Maine down by 6 runs. Had a chance to keep it being down by 4. If that was the case, a grand slam at the top of the 9th could have tied the game, but that will not be the case. They will still be down by 2. And the 2-2 is on the outside of Knotts, and the count now suddenly full. It was 1-2 before, a back-to-back balls thrown by Ben Farrell. Joe Bramante is up after Knotts. Full count coming from Farrell. Here's the throw, and he grounds this one along the third base line, and it will still stay foul, and it will still stay a full count. Ben Farrell trying to save off the cold. Of course, he's wearing those short sleeve shirts that usually baseball uniform players wear in the 3-2. This one is going to be grounded along the third base line. This will stay along the left field, so Giordano does not have to worry about picking this one up. It will be another foul ball, and it will stay a full count. Well, it stays where it does, most likely. Scout Knotts trying to find a way to get there. Ben Farrell trying to calm himself down. Another full count throw, and this one is again grounded along the third base line. Let's do this again. Well, I mean, why not? It's 3:51 right now on the East Coast. Stony Brook still up 15-9 on top of the second with 1 out and a full count. Scout Knotts, and he grounds and he fouls this one again. Knotts is trying to stay in there for as long as he can. He's trying to wear him out. As long as I'm not... Yep, it's still Ben Farrell. Saw his number 17. I almost thought that he wore another number, but it is still the same number. Now the full count, and another grounder to third. Wonder how many pitches have been thrown here so far. I've lost count. Well, you know when your season is on the line, you have to do anything you can to keep it alive. You're down by 6. You're down to your last 2 outs. Another full count, and this one's going to be grounded, and this one's actually going to be flown along the first base line. Keeps going foul. Foul, 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 foul. There's no end to it. You want to do everything you can still. Another full count, and this one is going down low for ball 4, and Scout Knotts wins the long battle against Ben Farrell. He'll move to first. It's exactly what the Black Bears need to try and work on something. You want to have the same inning here that you did against Stony Brook in the last inning. But it's going to be very tricky. Stony Brook's going to be careful not to let that happen again. As Joe Bramante will come up to bat. He got the first on error. Made it all the way home on the 3 errors. The first pitch goes down low to Chillo for ball 1. Well, double play can still end this game, whether or not. Farrell gets set now. 1-0. Goes down low on a fastball. And now Farrell is suddenly behind 2-0. It's taking him a little while to try and work his way out after he struck out Richie Williams to begin the top of the 9th. That's what he wanted to try and get this game over soon. The 2-0. Foul behind Bramante. Count 2-1 now. I want to be careful not to give any hopes for Maine to try and get back in this game. But you're in a position to try and get this game done as soon as possible, and it's pretty close. It's 2-1 now, and he fouls this one along, and the count now 2-2. So I'm sure that Farrell would have preferred them to be strikes, but foul balls are just good enough when it's not 2 strikes already on the upcoming pitch. I mean, it was 2-0, and now it's 2-2, so you like that. And now the 2-2, and he hits this one over the right field. That's going to go into the dirt for a base hit. As Bramante able to keep the wheels turning for Maine's comeback attempt, he's able to get on to first, and he'll bring Knotts over to second. So a man on first and second with one out. Comeback still alive for the Black Bears to try and get back in this ball game. So we're getting now to the bottom of the batting order. The 7th hitter, Jake Marquez, up. He also got the first on base hit his last time up. We'll see whether or not we're seeing a mound visit. Nope, not yet. Marquez is still going to be there. The first pitch. This one is grounded over to Jeter. Down, picks that one. Go to second. Has a chance to go to Hamilton at first and in time. And the ball game is over. A double play starting off to Stanton and Luthner. And the Seawolves have advanced to the American East Baseball Championship, where they will take on the NJIT Highlanders. The Black Bears season has come to an end as Stony Brook continues their ascent. Survive and advance continues to be the key. What an unbelievable game as Stony Brook continues to try and use home field advantage to their best. And today is when it started off by using that 6-run inning in the bottom of the second. And from there on out, Stony Brook did not relinquish the lead after they were down early, 3-0 in the top of the second. So a game that ends well enough for Stony Brook, getting their 31st win of the season. And now it all comes down to the championship round with NJIT. The winner of that one will be heading to the NCAA tournament. For Stony Brook, they need to sweep NJIT later today and tomorrow. While for NJIT, they just need one win, at least today or tomorrow. And let's get you going with and let's see if we can pick up the final stats for Stony Brook today. And we should be able to get them to you just momentarily. But really, this was a game that late on almost looked like there could have been a chance for Maine to come back and keep their season alive. But that double play after back-to-back base runs by Scout Knotts and Joe Bramonte, could have had a chance, but Jake Marquez did not let that happen eventually, and that is exactly what they needed to finish things off. Stony Brook finishing off the day with 16 hits. Maine had 8. There were 4 errors on Stony Brook. 3 of them came in the top of the 8th. They left 9 players on base. Stony Brook capitalized on 13 RBIs off the 15 runs that they got. And Brian Herman did everything that he could today. 135 pitches for the redshirt senior, and really, that is not something that you're used to seeing most often. He got 9 strikeouts, led 7 hits, 9 runs. Only 3 of them were earned, and 3 walks. So, not a bad day for Brian Herman. It was just the infield and the outfield that needed to do a little better for him. While for Noah Lewis, who was the starter, only lasted through 2 innings, got 40 pitches down, 7 hits, 6 runs. All of them were earned. Only managed a couple of strikeouts. For Stony Brook, the best player of the day is exactly who I was talking about. The bottom of the batting order, Brett Paulson. In his 4 at-bats, he got 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 RBIs, drew a walk, stole a base, and it was pretty much Jake Bramonte and Jake Marquez, Joe Bramonte and Jake Marquez, who each had a couple of hits. That was a team high for Maine. The RBIs were, of course, all the same way. 4 runs batted in, 1 apiece for Goodman, Bramonte, Marquez, and Planty. So Stony Brook moves to 31-17 on the year. Maine's season has finally come to an end. So, that will just wrap it up here for the time being, as we do anticipate the second game of the day in the American East Baseball Tournament. And we will wait to see what the status is of that game, and we will put on some reggae music for the time being until we get you an update on what's going to happen between Stony Brook and NJIT should the game eventually happen. But once again, your final score: Stony Brook 15, Maine 9. The Seawolves live to see the championship round of the American East Baseball Tournament, keeping their hopes of their 7th American East title alive. We'll let you know in just a little while about what the status is between Stony Brook and NJIT later today, but for now, this is Zach Wilson signing off for the time being. You've been listening to Stony Brook Baseball Live on the longtime home for Stony Brook Athletics, 90.1 FM, WUSB Stony Brook.